Hi, everybody. We're back. So I hope everybody's doing well. I see we already have 16 people in here waiting. And who was here first? Aaron, 7:31 p.m. Hey, how's it going? True Skills? Tony Close, UK Reef. Hello. Hi, T40. Nice to see you back. Hi, Taryn. Taryn's Little Ocean is here. Lee White. Hello, Lee White. Broke Reef Man 45. Hello. NSB Reefs. Hey, Matt. Chevy W. Ruger, hello. Wow, thanks for coming back. This is awesome. Last week was fun, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. There's been some comments, which I really like to see after a live stream. And if this is the first time you've dropped by, welcome if you're watching. And if this is a replay that you're watching, glad to see you too. Behind me is my tank, 300-ish gallons. Should have been around 350, but you see the little glass shelf in front? Yeah, that's why it's not 350. That's a story in itself. Who else have we got? Marcus Aerolis, 187. Hello. So until we get a guest in, I can sort of update you on what went on with me this week. If you happen to catch anything on Instagram, I did go to Big Al's, got some corals, and I also got some corals from a fellow hobbyist. And the hobbyist corals were to replace a couple of banked corals that I lost in some sort of mysterious overnight RTN. I also lost a very big, healthy pink Cadillac frag that I'd been growing for about a year. And so he very kindly replaced the two he had given me, plus he gave me a pink Cadillac, a really nice one. If you can see the sort of white blob right there, that's where we put it. And it's probably, I want to say the biggest branch is maybe 1.5 inches long, and it's got quite a few branches. It's really nice. And where that is dead center in the tank. And that was not easy to get there, let me tell you, even with Mr. Long Arms, my husband. He could not reach that spot. He had to use tweezers, and then, we both kind of had to manipulate it from either side of the tank. So that was not fun. But it's there, and lo and behold, the next morning it was still there, and I know there have been snails cruising by that spot. So there's that one, a candlelight, which is kind of tucked a little bit behind an F-flow to the left. You can't really see it, so there's no sense in me pointing it out. And a golden nugget, and what was the other? Oh, a Narnia. So I'm real pleased about that, 4. And then I got 2 beautiful octospawns and a cristata torch, which is also called a grape torch. There's been a lot of reclassifying going on. You guys have probably read and heard and whatever, in euphilia and things like that. So yeah, so that's kind of what happened this week. And true to form, I was determined to get those octospawns, the euphilia, set up in a little garden at the back, but we had some emergency babysitting we had to do because the little fella, my grandson, was not feeling well, so he couldn't go to daycare. And so we looked after him for a couple days, and it kind of pushes your whole week sideways when there's other appointments. So I haven't yet got those up on the rocks, and I'll be doing that tomorrow. And the big excitement for me is tomorrow, the Coral Beauty angelfish is going in this tank. So, and part of the reason that's exciting is not only will I get to see my birthday present swimming around in the tank, and hopefully it's not gonna, something bad's not gonna happen to it like the Royal Grandmas, but then I have space in the observation tank to get my next fish that I'm looking for, which is going to be a flame hawkfish and a gold rim tang, or a, I guess, white cheek, Acanthophyllia nigricans. I think they're beautiful. So no powder blue for me. I'm going to go with a little bit less aggressive one. Let's just see. I didn't notice that ledge last time. Yeah, that's a story that hasn't really come out yet in a video. There's a lot of swearing when we found out that the tank is 60 inches front to back, and it was supposed to be 66, and the stand is 66. So the stand had to be sent out to have another bar welded in to support the front edge of the tank. You can kind of, I'm pointing at the screen, okay. You can sort of see it where the red stick is. Oh, it's no point. I'm just gonna make myself dizzy. Yeah, there's another bar welded in to match the front bar, but 6 inches back. And we decided all we could do is make lemonade, so we turned that into a really nice 1/2-inch plate glass shelf. I'm glad I have it. I'd be just as happy without it because I want the extra water volume, but can't have that, so I'll take the next best thing, which is to make it useful. Hey, Phil, Reef Keeper, listening in like always. Glad you could make it. Hey, Jules. Okay, I think it's Jules. What do you guys think? Jules? I'm sure it's not ghouls. Maybe it's ghouls, but okay. Thanks, Phil. Shelf is nice, bad story. On the bright side, the tank is looking lovely fast. Thank you. Yeah, that's largely because most of what's in here is several years old already. And when you think of the miracle of them surviving a move out of the Red Sea tank into the 90-gallon holding tank, into the sump tanks downstairs, the 150 and the 100, with inadequate light, not the right flow. Yeah, it's pretty much a miracle that the amount of survival I had. I really only lost 2 corals, and one of them was my gorgeous, huge Turbinaria reniformis. It was frilly on the edges. I noticed after it died back, I still don't know why. I think it was bottoming out of phosphate that might have done it. Happened really quick. And there were some green areas. So I really carefully trimmed those off, and I have them on either side of the tank up high on one of the arches. So I'm hoping it'll fill in again. But really, I got to be pretty happy that I didn't lose more. Hey, Scotty Damron, nice to see you. Scotty, I have to apologize. And whoever I missed last week saying hi to and greeting you, I'm sorry. I'm slowly getting back into the way things go, managing the chat, monitoring things. And I do apologize if I missed you last week. Economical Reefer, hello. Ryan Shackleton, hey, Ryan, glad you could make it. We'll be on in about an hour. I think Ryan, SPS Reef Keeper. Yeah, cool. It's ghouls, the second one. Okay. No H, right? Some good reefing right there. Job well done. Oh, man. Yeah, well, as I say in my Insta bio and my YouTube little description, most days I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. So I just go lie down till the feeling goes away. Because honestly, there are things that happen and you think you make the right decision and it turns out to be the wrong decision. And we've all had it happen where you do something and then 10 minutes later you go, okay, that was stupid. Why did I do that? Yeah, there was a lot of that as well. Oh, a new scape. Nice. Yeah, looking forward to seeing it. Eggboy64, hey, Andy. I hope you're doing well. I see you're back from your holidays. Nice. So if anybody wants to come on in if you got the email. Let me just check my Gmail and see, maybe somebody sent me a request. Nope. Or if you want to ask me any questions about stuff that's going on and what's happening. Adrian, nice to see you, Adrian. Glad you can make it. I hope you're doing well. Last time we chatted, you had just been in an accident where your truck got hit. Ooh. Scotty Damron, I've got the 312-gallon glass cages Panancala tank on the stand and building a custom 110-gallon sump. Nice. You see, there you go. That's your 400 plus gallons of water. And honestly, I really think the water volume had a lot to do with what I was able to do in substandard circumstances, because even with just the sump section running downstairs, I had 265, 275 gallons of water. And that's more than I've ever had before. The Red Sea tank was, I believe it's 112. for the 425XL that I had, including the sump. So that was the biggest I had had before that. So just the sump section of this new system was more than double that. And I gotta say, I really believe it made a difference in being able to keep that stuff. So lucky, lucky. There's Taryn. Marcus, I learned a lot to just chill out and do nothing sometimes. Yeah. Let's bring Taryn in. Hey, Taryn.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Don't worry, guys. This isn't a tank full of algae.
I know. I was hoping to see you to show us your
My babies that
you have your babies.
they're 3 days old. They are. Let me see if I can zoom in. They're super tiny. They hatched on Wednesday night, so it's clownfish babies. For anybody that doesn't know, it's my first clutch. They're black Darwins, so the black and white ocellaris.
I can see them.
See there, you can see that little one right there.
Yep. Oh, there's two. Oh, there's three.
There's actually probably, I haven't even attempted to count them because they're really, really tiny, but they're growing. Some are like black colored like that, like little fleas, and some are kind of clear. Like some are bigger than others, but they are growing.
Nice.
So my first experience. So I'll be happy if I even get one out of this clutch that makes it through meta and is an actual fish. But I already have another clutch laid. They just laid it last night. So I guess I need more tanks. But yeah, so yeah, they're doing good. I was actually kind of surprised that they hatched because I moved. So the method that I'm doing is like my clownfish are laying their clutch in a clay pot, and then you move it when you think it's going to be hatch night. But because it was their first clutch, well, actually second, the first one got eaten, I moved it a little bit too early. So I moved it on like the 6th day, but they didn't hatch till the 8th. But I wasn't expecting them to hatch. And then when I checked on them a couple hours, it has to be completely dark for them to hatch. So I just like blacked out the tank with garbage bags. And then I checked on them 2 hours later and there was babies. So,
oh boy.
So it's pretty exciting, a little stressful, but it's a challenge. It's a new experience. So that's kind of what I've been doing. I haven't been focusing as much on corals just because I have this going on and that. But yeah, so they're doing good.
There you
They're
go.
tiny, but
But you know what amazes me is how fast they grow once they start growing.
yeah, like I'm actually pretty surprised too because when they first hatched, like there was only maybe like 2 of them that you could actually see that were black, like the ones you can see right now.
Yeah.
The rest were really super tiny and clear, and I could only kind of see their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, are they even going to make it through the first night? And I'm on day 3 now, so they're doing pretty good. And I started my rotifer culture a couple weeks ago when I had my first clutch, but my male ended up eating all the eggs because I think I spooked him because I was like looking at them and trying to take videos to see like when I should move the pod and that. So yeah, they only eat rotifers at this point, and in a few days I can start hatching baby brine shrimp. But I mean, they're definitely growing. They don't look like it, but
Oh no, you can tell. I mean, I've gone through lots of hatches, and maybe this is in the Red Sea tank. Maybe twice I actually did see free swimming babies, and they are super super tiny. But of course, they can't survive in a regular tank. They get swept over the overflow, and there's really not much you can do. And I wasn't in a position to raise them anyway, so.
yeah, it's a lot of work. Like, you also have to keep the salinity lower. And this is just a 10-gallon tank, but I only have probably like 3 gallons in it.
Yeah.
Just enough to cover the pot. But because I'm running the air stone in it and the temperature is pretty high, like I'm keeping the temperature about 81 or 82, I'm getting a lot of evaporation. So right now I'm just like dripping RO water in it.
Yeah.
But so it is a lot of work. Like in the morning I'm dripping RO with Phyto, and in the night I'm dripping RO and Phyto, and and yeah, so, and I have to start my own Phyto culture. That's next, and I'm gonna start hatching baby brine shrimp. So
Yeah.
I would have a full like mad scientist lab.
Nice. Oh, hey, Swiss Ocean. Hi over there. What's up? Ghouls has a question. Oh, yeah. Ghouls, do you treat your fish in your observation, or is it, as it says, just observation? It is just observation because I also have corals in there. And the idea is when I get the fish, it's already been through treatment because I do my best to try and have the fish store keep it for me for as long as I can push it out. Let's put it that way. And so far so good. And then I bring it home. I put it in the observation tank, especially if it's really small. Like the angelfish, the coral beauty was a birthday present. So I got it maybe second week in March, and it was not even the size of a quarter. And now it's probably the size of a toonie. So it's probably doubled in size in that 4 months. But it's at the size now where I feel that it could survive in with the big boys here. And there's so many caves in this tank and little places that little fish can hide that I'm not worried about it getting into a situation where it has nowhere to go. So, yep. So that's kind of exciting. If I would have to treat them for something, like if I spot something, then hopefully I can correctly diagnose whatever it is. And if it's something that I could put in, let's say, general cure, something like that, and address the problem, then I could do that as long as it's reef safe. If not, I would just remove the whole rock structure that's in the observation tank and put it in the 100-gallon section of my sump and put a light over it while I treated the tank. And then, of course, I would have to somehow deal with the biological media and start over. That's why I'd rather not do it.
Mm-hmm.
So it hasn't happened yet. That may all just fly out the window.
That's
right?
what I just do observation as well, and I haven't had any issues, but I just have a tank that I just do observation. I can keep fish in there for as long as I want, and then I just move them on.
And it's conditioning too. It's getting them nice and fat.
Yes.
And getting some size behind them, because the 2 Royal Grandmas that I have that unfortunately perished when I moved them here, they were really tiny when I got them, like really, really small, probably a ½ inch or maybe a little more than that. And so there was no way I would have put them in here. Adrian Mitchell. Yep, I'm coming along by God's grace. What do you use to test calcium? I use the spin test that I have, the Lamont spin test, but other than that, it's the Hannah checker. I found it to be the most useful because you get a number. So if you test 3 weeks in a row and your number increases slightly every week, you know what the trend is. It's slowly going up. If you use the color chart test kit, they're fine, but you can't spot a trend until it gets into the next whole category that's 20 parts per million later. So it depends where it is. If you're up at the high end or down at the low end, I always felt like I wanted to know where it was headed, up or down. And that's where the Hannah checker, that's why I like it. We had somebody popped in and I missed it. What else? Fair play. Oh, hey, fair play, Taryn, for trying to raise them. How often do you have to feed them? That's Tony Close.
Well, I feed them. When I first hatched, I added a whole bunch of rotifers, and then they eat phytoplankton. So technically, I'm culturing rotifers like in this tank. So at this stage, they only eat rotifers, which is just alive, kind of like a copepod, but smaller. So I just check the density of it, and then I can add, or I haven't needed to really because it's pretty dense in there. So they're self-populating rotifers. will
Mhm.
triple their density almost every day if they're getting enough food. So in a couple days, I'll start feeding them, or maybe like a week, I'll start feeding them baby brine shrimp and then TDO powder. But at this stage, they only eat rotifers.
Mm, nice. Well, hey, Lisa D. Mercurio, thanks for coming by. Scotty. Yeah, can't believe I spelled it wrong. Peninsula tank. That's what I thought, but I don't always keep up with all the latest fads, you know? Eggboy64 says his lightning maroon clowns lay eggs every couple of weeks. Wow, that's cool. Yeah. Lisa asks, have you done a tank tour I can watch? Not yet. This tank is still not quite finished. I still have things downstairs in the 150 section of the sump. And all of those things, pretty much, most of them are things that are on big rocks that we have to remove the big rock, scrape, cut, saw off whatever we can, and then move them into here. Because although this tank looks full from the front, it's almost shocking. There's still a lot of space because of the depth front to back. Oh, there's SPS Reefer. Let me get in. Eggs stay on glass or rock for a week to about hatching, but they get eaten up. Someday always wanted to raise some, but needs a lot of effort. Yeah.
Definitely needs a lot of effort.
Cool. That's awesome, Taryn. I'm going to bring Ryan in, SPS Reefer, and see what he's got going on. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? You're coming to us at what AM in the UK there?
It's about 1:30 a.m. in the UK.
Oh boy. Well, thanks for joining in.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit better this week.
Nice. Abraham Estrada. Hey, Abraham. How many tangs will you be putting in that tank? Right now I have I have three. A purple, a yellow, and a Desjardins. And in the sump downstairs, I have a Tomini. And I will be getting an Acanthurus nigricans, the gold cheek or the gold rim or white cheek tang, depending on what name you give it. And I'm going to call it at 5 because there are no other tangs that I want that I could have in this tank. I would love a Lamingi tang, but I'm not that crazy. So, it wouldn't be long before it would have to be rehomed. And then I don't know if you've ever watched Fish of Hex's Big Bertha, the Flamingi, and the how destructive she was in his 300-gallon, because they just need space, and I don't have that. So that's kind of a fish I would love to get because of their personality, right? But I'm not going to do that. Marcus Aurelius, if you get a 10% success rate out of all of those eggs in special care, it's a good point to hope for. Likely even less. Yeah. I don't know how that is. Like, I don't know what the successful breeders get as far as success rate. And how would you tell? Like, how would you tell how many you started with unless you were able to count all the eggs, right?
Yeah. I think once you get more experience, it's like, obviously this is a huge learning curve, but I know quite a few people that breed them and they get a decent success rate. So, but at this point, if I get one out of this clutch, I'll be so happy.
That's cool. Nice. Abraham Estrada, what size is your tank? This one calculates at around 327 gallons. And we think with the rock and everything, it's closer to maybe 300, 305, something like that. Yeah, so it's 5 feet by 5 feet by 21 inches. And you notice the aquascape's very low. And that was so that my fish would have lots of swimming room because, it's basically almost 7 feet corner to corner. So, and they're all over the place. So I put 9 tangs in my 200. I think I'm going to regret it. Yeah. Well, it depends what they are. I mean, there are some smaller tangs and there are some less aggressive ones. I kind of thought about getting a convict tang, but I don't know. I just don't want to push my luck. My goal has always been peace in the fish community. And there are a lot of fish I would love to have, but I know I can't have them and have a guarantee of a peaceful community. And, so it's kind of one of those things where if I ever got a fish only tank, that would be my opportunity. Marcus Aerolus, you have to count them, LOL. The best I had with other breeds was 23% to young adults. Oh, cool. Yeah. So, Ryan, we're all caught up in the chat, and you said you have a new aquascape. This is the same tank?
Yeah, it's the same tank.
Oh, cool. You got some branch rock.
Yeah.
Here, let me pop you up full screen.
Oh, cool. Yeah, there we go.
Wow. I'm going to get my orange glasses.
Yeah, I'll put my orange filter on in a sec.
I don't know. My grandson's been messing around with my glasses. I don't know where they are. So how has it been for you? The last live stream was like 7 months ago.
Yeah.
And
it's been tough. Yeah, the tank's not run as well as I'd liked.
Yeah.
So it had a big clean up a couple of weeks ago. So all the detritus that was on the bottom is now all gone. So there's literally next to no sand or detritus on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
All the back filter was cleaned. And today, the tank is running 10 times better than it was. We're getting a lot better polyp extension on the corals now. Yeah. We're not losing as many anymore.
And you've always been about the SPS, right? So having no sand makes really good sense for you, I think.
Yeah, I like SPS. That's one of the newer corals that were brought in.
That's great.
So he's just acclimating on the bottom at the minute. So, but he's got all his polyps out. So
nice.
There's a rainbow millie, that one.
Very pretty. I remember you had some really colorful ones.
Yeah, we lost a lot of them, unfortunately. So
it's the learning curve, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, you're always learning. That's a newer one that we picked up. So that one's like orange. It's got like really nice red polyps when it's out.
Looks like a tenuous of some type.
It is a tenuous, yeah. I mean, he has a mother colony at the shop. And the mother colony is stunning, so he cut me a frag of it. So
nice.
And then behind that is an Australian strawberry shortcake, which is so hard to get over here in the UK now, and they're going so expensive.
Yeah.
So I managed to pick up a frag of that one. So that's just colouring up nicely now.
Cool.
And then that one is my pink and green millie, which is looking really nice.
That is really gorgeous pink.
It's lovely, yeah. Then my Aggie tort, which had next to no colour when I bought it about a month and a half ago. So that's starting to colour up again now, which is good. And then that's my PT rainbow as well, so that's just starting to colour back up again. A lot of the corals lost a lot of colour before we did the big clean up, as I call it, so they're just starting to recover now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I was talking earlier about I only lost 2 corals, no, that's not exactly true. That's only recently. When I first moved everything, I lost most of the SPS that had survived the 90-gallon holding tank.
Yeah.
Probably 4 or 5 of them. Yeah, including the PC rainbow. That's what reminded me. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when we did the clean up of the tank, I mean, we changed a good 75 litres of the water, so I expected to lose a few of them. And I knew that they'd take a little while to recover, but they are recovering. The tank's is running a lot better.
Yep. Oh, I do every morning. I do the skin check. Do they still have skin? Do I see any skeleton? So far, so good.
Yeah, I mean, I never had really good polyp extension, and I couldn't work out why. So we had Jeremy, who is the UK editor for Reef Builders. So I don't know if you've heard of Reef Builders.
Yep.
So he come and as soon as he sat down and looked at my tank, he knew exactly what to do. So I employed him to do what he wanted to do, and he sorted it out for me. And like I said, the tank's just running so much better.
Nice.
You know, we're getting a lot better polyp extension. The corals are just colouring up really well.
Well, I just figure I might get polyp extension again someday. At one point
yeah,
in the red tank, it was just amazing with, you know, the threads. It was just unbelievable, but it took a while to get there. So I'm going to be content to know that they all have their skin every morning when I check, and the color is staying pretty good. So
that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
But that one's really fluffy.
Nice.
You can see all the polyps. You know, we've upped the floor as well, so the floor's now on 100%.
Yeah.
And as long as it's done in the right way, it's the corals are loving life.
Yep.
You know. So
yeah, a little bit at a time. And so
that's it.
was there anything you used to do that you're surprised now that you shouldn't do, or that you've changed? Oh, Marc is here. Let me just bring Marc in and say hi, and then I'll finish asking my question. Hey, Marc.
Hey, Cindy. Long time.
No kidding. Nice to see you. All right, let's finish this question with Ryan, because I remember, Ryan, you know, discussing various things you were doing, and I wondered whether Jeremy, whether there was anything specific that you can kind of point to that's different now than it was when you were just going along and running your tank.
I think most of it's to do with the lighting side of things. I mean, we did do a par reading when he came. Now, I never did a par reading at all, so I was just sort of guessing it, you know, the spectrum was right, or the right intensity.
Right.
So if I had to do something different, I wish I'd have done that at the start. And then I'd know then what sort of readings we were getting from the lights, because, you know, I was running the lights a little bit too much, and as a result of that, obviously the corals were stressing. So yeah, I think I'd have done that, to be honest.
So this is really good information, because I know there's a lot of reef keepers who get into it because they fall in love with the sticks.
Yes.
And that's probably a really good piece of advice. You know, beg, borrow, steal, buy a par meter and use it to zone your tank before you start. And you know, we did par readings, and I don't know if I've ever told you guys that story. I won't go into it now, but I'll put it in a video. And we were shocked, and we fixed that, and a lot of things turned around. So you know, with LEDs, well, I guess with any aquarium lights, you can't tell just by looking. And if you experiment, what are you going to kill before you finally go, oh, geez, I guess I shouldn't have.
Yeah. I mean, had I have done the par test, I probably wouldn't have lost half as many SPS as I have done.
Right.
Because when I originally did the test, where my lights are now off the aquarium water, and my skate was quite high last time, if you remember. Yep. And I was absolutely shocked to find that when I was running the lights at 100%, we had par readings of like 500-600.
Wow.
And it's like, yeah, it's a no. So no wonder they were dying. But that's my fault, you know. Instead of just thinking, yeah, they'll be fine there, I should have done it right from the start. But, you know, I'm glad I've done it now, because, you know, now the tank's getting back to somewhat in a good way. I know exactly now where to put the acros, and I know that they're not going to be fried by the LEDs.
Yeah, because there are a lot that do need lower light. You know,
yeah, absolutely.
There's a question in the chat, NSB Reese. Do you remember what par you kept your pink Cadillac at? Mine seems to like lower, wondering if it's the same for you. As close as I can remember, it was somewhere around 200 where I had it on the frag rack, just under the water surface in the Rubbermaid tub. And I don't know what it is where it is now, because of course, have I taken that good advice about measuring par, even though I have a par sensor? No, I haven't, not yet. But we have to do that, because there's no way I want to lose this stuff. And you know, it's one of those things, I got to get the laptop out, and I'm just convincing myself it's too much of a PITA. But you know what, really, it's not very smart of me not to do it. So I'm going to put that
No.
on my list for tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I'd have done it a long time ago, but you know, it's one of them things. Yeah, I thought, you know, I could look at the coral and think, yeah, it's fine, but I had no idea how much power these lights were putting out. You know, it's scary. It really is scary. So,
Yep.
but
Yeah. And that's what they
yeah,
always said. You can kill coral a lot quicker with too much light than not enough.
yeah. So yeah, we've got the Hydra 32, and then I have a brand new light, which is the Radiant XR15 blue. So
Yeah.
so we're just getting to grips with that one at the minute, you know. So
Nice.
nothing's about him. Oh, there's my tank.
Is this a new Scopus or?
He is, yeah. I mean, we've had her nearly a year, believe it or not.
Wow, that's
I mean,
awesome.
she was a little baby when we got her. I mean, she's grown so much, but she's so nasty and aggressive. You know, any fish we put in there with her, she just doesn't like anybody.
I've heard they can be aggressive. Yeah.
She's very aggressive, yeah.
Well, I'm planning on putting a school of azure damsels in this tank. I want at least 10, and they're going to be the last fish that go in. So we'll see. We'll see if I regret that.
Yeah, she's not happy that I've turned the lights on, as you can see.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she probably woke her up. It's like, what do you want?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, she's a beautiful fish, though. She's my little baby, so
Very nice.
I don't want to put her at risk, you know, with any of, because fish isn't really a thing for me. But yeah, I've had her since she was a little baby.
And you know, it is good to have some fish with coral. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
very nice. Awesome. So I guess you've turned your lights on specially for this?
Yeah, they're normally off by now, but.
Well, thanks for that. That's cool. So glad to see it. I'm going to have to get back to the weekend afternoon streams at some point too.
Yeah. I think it's about 6 o'clock in the afternoon in UK when you did it on Sunday, I think so.
Yeah.
The lights will be on fully then, so you get to actually see it.
Well, I set up my lighting schedule here in this tank to come. They're fully on by 11 in the morning, and then they slowly shut off, and they're fully off by 11 at night. Because I thought, I'm not a morning person. There's no having my lights on at 8 in the morning, and I'm not going to see them. And yet I'm in here sometimes working at 10 o'clock at night. So like working on the tank. Cool. All right. Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm going to see what Marc has been up to, because the last time we talked to Marc.
Well, I'm going to jump off because, like I said, it's late here, so I'll probably be on either next week or.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming in. Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Bye. Let's go. Oh, Marc. There you are. Hello. Marcus Aerolis says, those are some of my favorite acros. Had one related to them recently crash a big spatulata. Generally, they're pretty easy. Do you mean pink Cadillac, Marcus? That it lost water for 7 days, had to, oh my God, do things manually. Parameters went out of whack. Yikes. Oh dear. Tony had a question. Ryan, if you're around and you want to chat with Tony. Beautiful, Ryan. What are your parameters? How are you keeping them there? I am a pretend SPS keeper. Hydnophora looks the part, but is a LPS. Yeah, I think of myself as a pretend SPS keeper. I have a few, but you know. Anyway, Marc, can you turn your phone sideways, please?
I'm working on it.
Okay. There we go.
I'm also grabbing the lens for you here.
Oh, nice. Ooh. Now, if I remember right, you had a couple of acanthophyllia last time we saw you.
So yeah, I did lose the one. This one survived.
Looks
Everybody's
nice.
currently in feeding mode.
Yep.
But I got a new showstopper.
Ooh.
I got something prettier than this.
Cool. Let me bring Garrett in, because I'm sure Garrett will have something to say too.
All right, give me a sec here.
Okay. Hey, Garrett.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good.
We're gonna hear what we're gonna see Marc's showstopper.
So
You guys knew each other from last time, right?
believe so. It's been quite a while since I've been in. So
Yeah.
so
Okay.
anyway, I have been kind of night mooning, if you will, at one of my local fish stores who got
Ah,
it direct into order.
nice.
Now, because I was helping out, I got to cherry pick, and I got my hands
Oh boy.
on this.
Wow.
That's an acanthophyllia, or is it an endophilia?
Acanthra.
Nice.
Wow.
Gold
It's-
dust acanthophyllia. It is gorgeous.
You know
I
what?
love the gold
My
on it.
fish store has one of those, but I'm unable to find the price in my budget right now.
Yeah. I got really lucky and got this guy for 600.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about it. That's right. Beautiful. I don't think he's charging that much, but still, I can't right now. I've spent $500 on salt, and it's crazy, man.
It's a big
Yeah.
commitment.
Oh yeah.
So
Is that Canadian or US?
that was 600 Canadian.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
Marc,
Canadian
you're in
too.
Nova Scotia, right?
I am. Yeah.
Woohoo.
So, but
So-
the tank has been maturing very, very beautifully.
Your sand looks nice.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I may have done a little dusting today to pretty things up.
Hey, listen, I have no objection to that because we all know that reality is you walk in, the glass needs cleaning, there's crap on the sand that keeps growing back. And I always made an effort to clean up before I did a video. Always.
Yeah.
I don't mind admitting it because we all know that's not how things look all the time. So yeah.
That's why I was a little
So-
late getting in. I was cleaning glass on all my tanks. And finishing up some water changes.
Awesome. Oh, is that a Calastria purple?
It is. Now, if you remember the last time you saw him,
Uh-huh.
he was one head and he was almost completely smothered in green hair algae.
Yeah, and I know that because I have one of those things. They are super, super slow growers, but when they do start to split, they really start to go.
You
So
don't say.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, my minty
So-
green and my toxic green are fast, but my purple with the green, like it's really slow. I think I might
Yeah.
have 6 or 7 heads, and I've owned that thing for probably 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, no, this is my other one. This is my new Cyphastria.
Nice. Is that a meteor shower?
It is. Yeah.
Very
He's
nice.
been in there for 4 months and he's already spreading all over onto the rock.
Yeah.
Then my Ultra Blastos.
Nice.
Love Blastos.
I apologize, you guys are getting a bit of the underglow from my my grow light in the refugium. There, maybe that'll help a little. Yeah, I've this guy has started spreading down.
The Leptocerus?
Yep. We go up,
I like that one.
and we got 2 of my Gonnies and my Octospawn, and then my beautiful little one. I'm not even sure what he's supposed to be, but he
Is it a chalice of some type?
no, it when I got him I thought it was an acan, but it was all completely closed up. But I think it's there's 2 types of acans. There's the acan lords, and then there's the
Well, there's
The other-
Micromusa, right? Like
Maybe.
the Micromusa is the acans we used to think were acans.
yeah.
Then there's the acan lords, which are the bigger polyps, if I'm remembering right. I
Yeah,
haven't
but these don't have the big fluffiness the other ones do.
right.
So then there's my, that's what's left of my chalice. I've been able to recover him.
Yep.
That's my, which one is that now? Lava? I think that's my running lava.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then that's what's left out of my bubble tips.
Uh-huh.
Him and that little glow you see hiding amongst my rocks.
Yeah.
Didn't
So
you have one that was like all white? A nymph that was like all white?
Yep.
Oh, that was
It's
the
now
other
purple.
tank. It's now purple? Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I was
he
wondering what
darkened
happened to that one.
So this is my wife's tank. This is Noodle's Nook.
Nice.
Grasping just a couple nice little things.
Yeah.
These guys are doing so well in here.
You're so brave. You put GSP right next to something else on a rock.
No. All of our GSP was here.
Oh my God.
And then it started here. Random.
Oh, yep. Get the
So-
knife out. You won't have any zoanthus left.
Yeah.
Every now and then I see a polyp of
I
mine
did
floating around.
start something though.
Ooh.
Yeah, I took the dive. I went full Neptune.
Yeah.
2 Neptune skies, the full doses, all the stuff underneath.
Cool.
There's there's my my beautiful mag.
I have one of those. I don't even know how big he really is, but I know he's pretty big because I've only ever been able to look at him from the top down. Yeah.
Kind of hiding there. I have a trio of these beauties now.
Ooh, bang guys.
Yeah.
Nice.
They have been very happily decimating my pods.
Are those hard to get there?
The bang guys? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got really lucky, and one of the stores got his supplier was like, hey, these were ordered special. They never ended up going. Do you guys want them? And as soon as they came in, I jumped on them.
Yeah.
So, and then a couple of my other rainbow mushroom recordias, my beautiful ganies.
Nice.
See if I can get this to zoom in any on them.
I have to come up with something to get decent video because a lot of it's going to have to be top down through a viewer because I can't zoom close enough, or I'm going to have to get a camera that's capable of it.
Yeah.
Oh, frozen. Hey, Joseph Posada. Nice to see you. Oh, you're frozen there, Mark. We can see your toes. Oh, maybe, hey, Garrett, maybe we'll bring you up and you can show us what you got going on until we see if Mark comes back.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Okay. All right. We haven't forgotten about you, Mark. So last time I went, when I rewatched and I went through the chat, someone was asking what the green thing was in your tank. And it was at the point where I was just happened to be looking at it, your branching green star polyps.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Thing is
I have those in the bottom tank. Those are all frags. Let me change my camera settings.
There we go.
Sorry about that. There we go.
I just asked Garrett about his branching green star polyps, and then we'll get back to you for the tour.
Yeah, so these are all the frags that I have. I've already given some, and then the big colony is in the Fiji cube tank downstairs.
Yeah.
But yeah, they grow up, not out, and encrust over the rock really well. This one I kind of just took the rubber band off, but it only takes maybe 3 or 4 days before they grab onto the rock enough.
Wow. Mine are sort of an acid green. They're not the pretty emerald green that you've got.
Oh yeah.
And the branches, I think, are getting really, really thick. I can see 2 of them now starting to grow up, which is kind of
Oh,
exciting.
nice. Yeah, because a local fish shop that I went to, they were like, "Oh yeah, we got branching. You know, we have the branching ones. You know, here they are." And they were kind of like matted, and they kind of like just matted and just went into tiny little tendrils, and they and just kind of spread out that way. But yeah, this tank's doing good. I've moved a few things around. I put some alveopora back there from the other tank. It wasn't doing so great. You can barely see my mandarin there. Moved around the gorgonian and the devil's hand.
Yep. Devil's hand was the very first coral I ever got.
Yeah, this one hasn't really done a whole lot, but it seems a lot happier now that I moved it to this side of the tank. It was kind of in a lower flow. Now that I've put a little bit more flow on it, it really likes the way it's done.
Big polyps on that one.
Yeah, and they're white too. They're like white with a little yellow center. It's kind of hard to see, but
Marcus Aerolis is saying that monster Nephthia, was that you that had that? I seem to remember it was you had one ginormous. Yeah, that right there. Is that a Nephthia?
Oh yeah.
Or Sinularia? I don't know the difference.
Yeah, I think it's a Sinularia. I don't know. But it's enormous. It's growing out the top right here. It's you know, just kind of like hugging. And then I added this little dry rock area to kind of stick out. I wanted to mess around with that, but it's kind of cool. I see the crabs come out here and hang out from time to time.
Yeah. Uh-oh, ghouls, I'm back. Just had my 10-gallon QT tank broke on the bottom. What a mess. Poor little emperor. Oh no.
Oh no.
That's terrible. Jamie Reef Tank, if you look at some of my old YouTube video, I have branching green star polyps. Wish I could find someone that sells them. I don't have that tank anymore. I don't know, Jamie, are you in Canada? Because I got mine at Fragbox. My my branching frag that I got.
If you're in USA, I'll send you some.
There you go. You guys can connect. Cool.
And this one isn't like super happy right now, but this is my Blue Ridge coral.
I was going to say that's probably the best close-up I've ever seen of a Blue Ridge where you can actually see the growth habit on the thing.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
I have one of those too.
You can still tell it's sloughing off a little bit, so not like super happy, but usually the polyps are out a lot. It really likes high flow.
What color are the polyps when they're out?
White.
Oh, cool.
They're like a pure white.
Nice.
Yeah.
Jamie Reef Tank is in the US. Okay, Jamie Reef Tank, get in touch with Algae Warrior. I think probably the best way is on Instagram, right, Garrett?
Yeah. Just hit me up on Instagram.
He has frags.
Yep. I got a lot.
Sammy31D, hello. Cool. All right. So shall we switch back to Marc now that he's back and continue that tour?
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Oh, totally.
Okay. Okay, you ready, Marc?
Yeah.
There we are.
Just had to. So I turned everything off, make it a little bit easier. So this is here we go. From the down.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's cool.
Is that a cabbage?
Yeah, cabbage leather. Yeah. I love how much variety there is when you see cabbage leather. They're all different.
Yeah, I have a little frag right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's a cabbage leather or not, but he's got that beautiful pink and then just like the brightest little whitey green tips.
That's kind of the way mine is too.
So
that's cool.
And then we can see Mag hiding in the back there again. Yeah, he's all grumpy.
Oh,
Mine doesn't have a
camouflage.
name yet. I wonder what I should. Maybe that's what I should do on one of the live streams is name the fox face.
There's the acanthophyllia from the top.
Oh, they're gorgeous, and you can't describe how it's metallic. Like the one that I saw, it was more of an orangey gold color.
Yeah.
And it just looks like a pile of gold dust. It was amazing.
Yeah.
You got to see them in person.
Yeah, like looking down at mine, like I can see it, but the camera is not doing it justice.
No.
Yeah.
No. It can't be metallic.
So there is the acanthophyllia from the top, or the trachophylia, sorry.
And so has this grown?
It has.
Because it looks bigger than it was before.
Yeah, he is now about 4 inches across when he's closed up like this, and when he's opened up, he's about 10 actually.
Don't you love it? How fluffy they get?
I just need his counterpart to do it. So this is getting fragged up here in the next week and a half. Finally,
nice.
My big old pile of zoanthids.
Yep.
So we have my Iron Man Acan Lord, just a teal and red Acan Lord. My little rainbow. See if I can get a better shot down. Yeah, there we go.
Pretty. Crab?
Yeah. He's one of 2 left in the tank, and they're the only 2 that have never bothered crawling across my corals.
Wow.
So they're being allowed to stay put for now. So there's, oh, here comes Chase.
Triggerfish.
Yep.
Is that a Niger?
It is.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Oh, you're brave.
Another Bangai hiding in the back. He has never bothered with any of my corals, knock on wood.
I was thinking more of your crabs, but maybe they're too big.
No, because I've got 2 or 3 of the peppermint shrimp in there, and he doesn't even bother with them either. So
nice.
My blue metallic mushrooms. So switch back up here, and if you look, you can actually really get a good view of the color on this Ghani now.
Oh my God. Marcus Aerolis says that is radioactive, such a cool color. I think he was talking about the trachophylia, but look at this Ghani. Wow.
Yeah, he's quite a showstopper. I got really lucky, and a friend of mine, I got it from a friend. So
beautiful.
And then you remember my beautiful elven ear.
Uh-huh.
And I have started with the SPS.
Ooh. You crossed over to the dark side.
Oh, it's a slippery slope, as I'll show you in a moment.
Is that a Pocillopora there?
No, that is a bird's nest.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's one of the green ones. Oh, yeah. I can see that now. Yeah. The tips are so round.
They are.
I had a Pocillopora that started spawning. And once that starts to happen, you don't want that in your tank anymore.
Yeah, this guy here, now, when I got it as a clinger on a random frag.
Well, that's cool.
So if you see like on the back center there, that one little bulb.
Yeah.
He was that big when I got him.
Oh boy.
And he is grown, and he's just fluffy and beautiful green.
There you go. You're ready for SPS.
Well, you say that, and then...
I know, right? Why buy one when 5 will do?
Well, so what the story behind all of these actually are rescues.
Oh, cool.
So the local fish store, they had one of their tanks crash.
Oh.
And all of the SPS was literally dying off. Like, as you can see here on this guy, when my finger comes into view, right here, like there's just the littlest amount of him left. And they were all like that. He's been the slowest to recover from this.
Right.
But the other ones, they're just starting to get their coloration back. It's been about 2.5 weeks now.
Wow. Good
So,
for you. That's some good work right there.
that's my wife's beautiful rainbow Monty. Monty? Yeah, it's Monty.
Yeah, that looks like a Palawanensis or one of those encrusters that kind of almost looks like it should get branches, but it never really does. It just gets real bumpy.
Yeah. Well, all I know is right now he's going to take some work to get out of that because he's actually grown around the holes on the frag rat. So
yeah, I had that happen, and I found if I popped it up from underneath and just kind of tapped it and just kept working at it, they popped right off. I had war corals, a lemon spice favia. Now I didn't have Montipora. I guess it depends how thick the skeleton is, but
well, the thing that he's done is he's actually, I don't know if you can see it from here, but yeah, not really. So he has actually grown down through and around. It's almost like he's got a finger hooking and holding him there.
yeah. You might lose that, but if you take the piece, you can get it growing on that empty plug there.
Yeah. Well, the empty plug was from that little guy there.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So he took a tumble and he wasn't doing so well. So I put him down where all the other ones are that they seem to do so well, and that's where we're at.
Nice.
So
Oh, thanks, Taryn. Taryn says, I lost my connection. Thanks for having me. Stay in the chat.
So the one thing that I'm missing that I can't really show you because he is notorious for what he is I picked up a black leopard wrasse.
Oh, I haven't heard of that.
I guess it's also kind of as a domino wrasse or a domino leopard wrasse.
Huh.
Then you remember all my random zoas.
Oh, yeah.
They're still there.
Wow, this tank has like blossomed since the last time we saw it.
Yeah, well, I equate that to I have well, I'll go down to the dirty hidden stuff. We have that is all dragon's breath macroalgae.
Mm-hmm.
My skimmer, I have upped the amount of rock in that, so I have the rocks hidden in under there, under my filter. There are a bunch of them over here. And the dosing. When I switched to the component dosing, I noticed such an amount of growth.
Mm-hmm.
So
what do you mean by component dosing?
I've switched over. I'm using the Aquaforest 123 Plus.
Okay. Yep. So you mean trace elements?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's not like a calcium alkalinity, it's the other balance.
Oh no, it's all of it actually. So it's calcium, alkalinity, magnesium as your 3 base.
Okay.
But then it's got all the other trace elements mixed through as well.
Oh, so it's kind of like the balling method where you mix up your chemicals and then you add a little bit from the bottles depending on what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
yeah.
And then as a whole.
Oh, looks nice. Is that clove polyps you have on your overflow? Or on that filler at the back?
So that is actually the piece. If you remember, I used to have a 90.
Yeah.
With glass lids. Well, this is now a 75 with no lids. So I was taking the lid from here and it separated the plastic.
Ooh.
And in my 90, I ended up with a scallop coming out of the glass right here.
Oh, brother.
So I took the green star that used to grow on the overflow in the 90.
Right.
And it has now just...
Wow. Yeah, from a distance, there was so much pink in it. I thought it looked like clove polyps, but I can see up close. Yeah, that's cool. And you know what? You can move it anywhere you want. If it starts to go crazy, you pull it out of the tank, you cut it back, and you put it back in.
And that's exactly what I've been doing. So I'll wait. Well, I don't know if I can see it now, but yeah. So where it hooks over, it'll start growing down the backside, and I'll pull.
Ooh,
My pistol shrimp has come out.
cool. He thinks it's safe. Is there a goby with it?
He ate his goby.
You're kidding.
No.
I think you told me that in an email when you were telling me about you almost got a yellow tang.
Yeah.
Look at him. He's brave. Wow.
He's got his own little area. He's got under this whole rock here. So when I put this back in the tank, cover the light again. So when I put this piece back in the tank after the wreck, I put some spare pieces of rock on the bottom of it. So it's actually posted up above the glass.
Right.
And he is down underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
And his main home is in under this pile of rock. So every so often he'll make his way across. And an interesting little thing that I learned is they will carry shells with them. He has been moving little bits of scallop shell and, well, the graveyard from behind all that rock back there.
Yep.
And he's been depositing them over here. Like there's the front entrance.
I shit you not, my tiger pistol shrimp and the pair of Aurora gobies, that shrimp built a perfect archway out of little tiny bits of rubble that I had put in there for him. And it was an area on the left behind the front arch that I used to call the junkyard, because every day I would go down and it would look completely different. And they spent all night moving stuff around. And the one day I came out and there was an absolutely perfect arch that would lead into their tunnel. It's amazing. I am going to get one or two for this tank at some point, but man, oh man, they're just fascinating.
Yeah. And now I'm really going to stir it up because it is actually feeding time.
Ooh.
So a little bit of mysis, some baby brine, some reef plankton going down there. Let's see who will come out for it tonight.
Is this normal feeding time for you?
Yes. Yeah. I've been switching my feedings over to later in the evening.
Yeah.
Because as you can see, like everybody's just in full-blown food mode right now. So.
And do you get all the huge tentacles after the lights have been out for a while?
Yes, that's usually when I see it the most.
Yeah.
Like if you look up at my spawn there, he's got his feeders out, which is really cool to see because he just goes right flush.
Yeah. And you've got your flow off right now.
I do, yeah.
Look at that cabbage leather. Wow.
And then there's this guy. He's in timeout. He's going to his new home tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
That's that giant bubble tip.
Wow.
And then there's what my children have dubbed the murder star of death. I don't know if you can see him very well there.
Oh, yeah, I see legs sticking out.
Yeah.
Oh, he just moved.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Mag is being himself. He loves the camera.
Uh-huh. I've got mine now to where both the tomini and the foxface will come to the baster when I'm feeding frozen, which I do at night. I just get one baster full and I just put the thing down in the water and I don't squeeze it until I see both of them out, and then I slowly squeeze it in. So that's coming a long way for the Magnificent that I have, because that thing, I would get worried about it because it would be days between sightings. And now I see him every day. So yeah, he looks pretty big.
He is currently 5 inches.
Nice. Look at it. He's beautiful.
Yeah. And that's the fish that got me into the hobby.
Mm-hmm. The fish that got me into the hobby was the flame hawkfish.
I have a friend of mine who has one of those, and believe it or not, he's in with a frogfish.
No way, really?
Yeah. Yeah, so you can see.
Very nice.
Yeah. All their feeders are out now. Usually they know once I put on the antics and that's kind of the key that everybody's going to get their feed, because I love watching these things feed with that color pop on them.
Oh, yeah.
And mushrooms are sticking their mouths out.
Yep. Isn't it amazing? I never realized that about mushrooms until I started looking in the tank after dark. That, because of course, the tank that I had used to have regular hatches of whatever plankton.
Mm-hmm.
And I found out by accident in my little 20-gallon tank about the threads and the polyps on SPS. And that was always crazy. But the mushrooms surprised me more than anything at how big their mouths can get.
Yeah. Well, I'm just hoping I can save this little guy. The neon pink gonies there on the left. I'm getting a bit of recession from the back going forward on them.
Oh, yeah.
So as you can see, like that darker ring at the top of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These guys are still doing well, but these guys are the new ones that are just so happy, thankfully. I seem to have a lot of luck in this area of the tank with them.
Yeah, I wonder if it's something to do with the light.
I'm not sure, because they're both getting the same par. I think that the difference is literally like 5.
Really?
5.
Wow.
Yeah. So my tank is set pretty good for its par. So I mean, like, both sets of rocks are kind of at the same height.
Yeah.
But the only thing that is a little different is on my lights, if you look, the one on my right here just has a bit more of a slope to it. Just ever so much.
Yeah.
Which I haven't been able to really fix, because I broke rule number 1 and right up against the wall.
No space. Yeah.
No space.
Yep. That's a hard one, because it's never enough. I have a foot behind my tank, and the overflow itself is only the upper half of the tank, and it takes up almost 7 inches of that.
Oh,
so
wow.
there's a whole stretch where we've only got 5 inches, which you can still get your arm into if you have to, but yeah.
Yeah.
Never enough.
And then we have the fresh water, which is my wife has made some changes to, and we've gone into a dark Amazon river.
Oh, nice.
So that beautiful, I don't know, see if I can get past the
black water. We had black water for our Oscars and Pleco in the 125 that we had. And
it doesn't really, unfortunately, the light that I have that one on, I'm not able to control for whatever reason. I think the light is burnt out its Bluetooth connectivity, and I just can't get it connected anymore.
Sammy,
so it runs its light schedule, and that's that.
Sammy31Dee said he just put a Fiji fox face in his frag tank. Been great so far, as good as yellow tang in the display. Nice. Marcus Arelis says, corals got me into this hobby. Starting out, I never even wanted fish, but I learned you need some. Oh, Sammy31Dee says the next time you do a water change is your chance to slide the tank out an inch from the wall.
That's not going to happen with this thing. Because the unfortunate part is when I do my water changes, they're all from down there.
And it's the type of stand that you have. I'm not sure you would even want to try and slide it.
Yeah, no, it's just square steel.
Yeah.
So I am actually I'm getting a new frame and everything built for it. So when I do that, I might bring it forward a bit by about 2 or 3 inches.
Yep. Wow, that is cool.
All right, I'm gonna make a very happy little fox face here,
Yeah.
because although he's already had some earlier today,
Oh, did we lose you again?
no,
Oh,
no, it's just I set the phone down to stare in because I need 2 hands. Bring this.
Right.
Silly bumblebee hiding in my food clip.
My husband does the morning maintenance on the tank, including taking the algae clip out from the night before. And he loves to feed the little nubbin, that's between the pincers.
Yeah.
He loves to feed that to the fish and watch them all fight over it.
So my nubbin, as you call it, gets put right down here every day.
Yep.
And that little hermit that's hiding there will, once he realizes that it's there, will pounce on that and just go bonkers, ripping it to pieces as he stuffs his face.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So
Nice. Awesome tour. It's really good to see this. Wow.
his hideout number 2.
Yeah,
So,
once you find their hiding places, it becomes a lot easier.
yeah, if anybody has any idea on what these 2 SPS are, though, I would love some ideas, because I've never been able to get a name for it.
The one on the left, does it have branch tips that are different color than the skin, and do the polyps extend?
The polyps extend on both. The flesh it's almost like they're the same, but just mildly different. Like the one on the right seems to be growing as more of a single spike, and the one on the left is just branching continuously.
Huh.
But the polyps come out and they're almost like a purpley pink.
Yeah.
And then the flesh is kind of a yellowy green color.
Huh. Well, you know what? If you can't find out what it is, there's your chance to name it. You got to give it something that has the word ultra in it, though.
Oh yeah, because that just adds so much to it.
Yeah.
So
And
he's holding up.
Oh, you can say rainbow, I believe.
Yeah, so this guy's getting fragged here this coming week as well, because when he reaches over, he literally goes all the way over to those zoanthids there.
Yeah, I had one of those, and I took it to the coral reef shop. And this is a good story. Taryn ended up getting a frag of that, and we didn't find out she had a frag of one of my things until one of the live streams. But anyway, until I got that probably 10 years ago, I think.
Oh, there go my lights.
I had it for about 5 years, and I had never, ever seen one like it, ever. And I've recently seen a lot. So it is, and it's that color even when the lights are off. See, like the bright green color. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for the tour.
Not a problem.
That is great.
Any excuse to show it off. I mean, why not?
I know, right? Let's get Algae Warrior back in here.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
We will continue the visit. Oh, I see a Gorgonian. Lots of GSP frags. Very nice.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. Something's wrong with my headset.
Oh, I'll add Mark again in case he wants to comment. There we go.
Yay.
Yeah, it's a ORA Gorgonian. I know because of the plastic frag plug that's super annoying.
Uh-huh. And you know the other kind I hate are the ones that are solid black, and I don't know what the heck they're made of, but you can't cut the stem off.
Yeah, I've had some that like are almost like porcelain,
Yeah.
and you can't get the bottom off, so you're just kind of stuck with it.
Yeah, Marcus Aurelius 187. I was going to say a ceramentosa, because I have two of them, and mine are different from each other. They have like slightly different colors, but the reason I asked about the skin and the polyps is that it's like they have little flat fingers, and the polyps look like polka dots that are at the same level as the skin. But anyway, sorry. Nice tang. Is this a coal tang?
Yeah, it's a blue-eyed coal tang.
You don't see the blue-eyed ones very often. That is
No, this was when I first got it, it was completely yellow. It just had like the blue eyes, and as it's grown up, I've probably had it for a little over a month now, and it's kind of darkened up in the front, and you can see some of the blue on his on the edge of his fins, and his front face is starting to get a few spots on it. But it's so hard to film him because he just goes everywhere, just all over the tank.
Yeah, the Tomini
Constantly
tanks,
pecking at everything.
they're on the move all the time.
Yep. But really great worker though.
Oh yeah. Nice. So is this your frag tank then?
Yeah, kind of. This is just like a auxiliary tank. I kind of got it because I needed a place for the branching GSP frags, and I've kind of been like messing around with rocks and stuff, so I've just been using it to cycle rocks, and I'm gonna shuffle some things around.
I gotta say, I like how the rocks look in there.
I kind of do too, and I've never done bare bottom before. I really like the look of sand. It's just seems more natural, but so this is my first bare bottom tank, and it's going okay.
Yep, I made Mollywood into a bare bottom tank when we moved it from our other house to my daughter's place in the process of moving house. And I never thought about the potential for a cycle until it was too late. I should have taken the sand out slowly, but it never really happened. And
Yeah,
I was ready for it, and it never really happened. I removed all the sand. We moved the tank. I didn't put any of the sand back in, set it all back up, and it was fine. And I was on tenterhooks waiting for some sort of a cycle to start wiping things out.
Right.
So, sorry to jump in. Garrett, how long have you had your blue eye?
About a month, a little over a month.
So I have one in my tank as well. He stayed hidden the whole time, of course. Anytime I go near and I start playing with the lights, he runs and hides. But mine does the exact same thing, that all over the tank, constantly picking at every little thing.
Yep.
They're so fun to watch.
Oh yeah, I love this one. So great. This one's actually going to go into the 45 at the very my very bottom tank. I have another tang that is getting too big for it, and so this one is going to replace that one as soon as I can find someone who wants to take it. I'll show her to you in a little bit. But yeah, for this tank, I plan on changing the lights too. This is like a, it's just like just a spotlight. It was like 185, I think, on Amazon, but it does a really good job. It's super spotlighty, and it worked okay on the 45 before I got my new light, and it perfectly fits over the 20 long. But I got some of Luca's bars, the Quantas.
Sorry, that's me. Apologies for that. Hang on a minute. Okay. I'm sorry, I don't know what happened there.
Somehow Crazy Town got on there.
Yeah, that's my phone because I thought I'm going to put my filter on and just sit the phone up. But all right, I got to get out of here because I'm wrecking it. Oh, apologies, everybody. I did not think that would happen. Okay. Whoa.
We seem all right now.
Yeah, there we go. And a little side thought. Cindy, do you remember when the first time I joined in, we started talking about microbubbling?
Yes.
Still doing it.
Wow, and I even muted the mic.
I still have the bubbler that you sent and all the free little knickknacks and everything, and they've come in so handy. So thank you so much again for that.
Awesome. What in the heck is going on here?
What are you using? Are you
Better?
combining your rocks, Garrett?
Yeah, so I kind of I've messed around with these, but basically I just have them and I put like small little structures together, and then you can kind of like move them around and make whatever sort you want. That way, I mean, it can make some cool arches and caves and stuff.
The next time I do a tank reset here, when I'm looking at upping my tank size again, because I'm crazy like that, I am really thinking I'm going to do the same. And what do you use to glue them all together? Are you using like the super glue cotton
just
fiber
regular
trick, or
regular BRS or Bob Smith Industries, which is pretty much BRS. BRS just rebrands it, but Bob Smith Industries super thick glue, and then their accelerator, and I'll just they're the stacks, so they're super flat, and I'll super glue the stacks together, and then just kind of go over. I'll put like a thick seam for like some rock rubble to try and cover up the seams.
Well, yeah, because that's what I was kind of curious about. Because I'll be honest, like I don't see a lot of seams on where your rocks are all together. It looks really nice.
Thanks. Yeah, it's it kind of bothered me a little bit at like seeing all just like the straight lines and how it wasn't as natural. So yeah, I tried to do as much as I could, and then they're still flat on bottom, but yeah, I kind of it'll be fun to play around with them. I'm gonna cycle them a little bit differently. I'm gonna put them in RODI water for like about a month, and let that try and pull anything out of the rocks. And then I'm gonna start cycling it with some of my old tank water, and just do it that way. And then it'll probably go into the auxiliary tank before it goes to its next place. And I kind of did that. I'll go down to the Fiji cube.
Have you guys heard of the two little fishies, little rocks and little feet?
Little feet? No.
It's
I have.
It's pardon?
I have not.
You haven't. If you ever see it, when you're looking at building rock structures, that's what I use to build my arches and all of the individual little pieces that I've got standing up all over the tank. And it's meant for like fragging. Like Garrett, you in your auxiliary tank, you've got your GSP kind of laying across some smaller rocks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's meant for stuff like that. So the little feet are probably, I don't know, maybe 3 by 4 inches roughly. And they're sawn flat on both sides, but there's lots of great texture. And I guess part of it is you could put them underneath your rock, your aquascape, if you wanted to lift it up off the bottom. And then little rocks are just the same kind of thing except smaller pieces. And they're not that expensive. It's like $15 for a bag.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
No, like it by weight, it's probably a lot of money, but as far as
Yeah.
usefulness, like flexibility, what you can do with them, I just found it. I found them really fun to work with.
Yeah.
Look at that GSP.
Yeah. This is the mother colony, which as you can see, it's about to hit the fan here.
I think it
And
was maybe 3-4 inches long, and you might have had one that was longer than that. But wow,
yeah, and
That
then
is gorgeous. What is that again? Sorry.
it's the branching GSP.
Oh wow.
And I've already had to cut it like 3 or 4 times just because it started to, run into this acro right here. And then one of them got so big that the weight of it just kind of collapsed because it didn't have enough structure to go off of. And it wandered into the power head and it just kind of blew down. But
I was going to say, did that turn into a blender spawn incident?
I saw a few polyps, but I think they were like the tips or the ends of them. So they not much became of them.
Sammy31Dee says, never seen a better branching GSP ever. Wow.
I'll be
Right.
honest. Tonight's the first time I've ever saw one. That thing is gorgeous.
I mean, you can kind of see like the growth structure and how it kind of
Yeah.
how it just kind of like folds over and then just keeps on going up and up and up.
Oh wow.
But yeah, it's a really, really cool, and it hasn't really gotten to the point. I've had it for about a year now, a little bit over a year. I got it about a 4-inch frag, and it's only occupied that little amount of space. So it really does like to grow up rather than the classic GSP that just encrusts over everything.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like that's for mine. That's why my wife and I, like with our tanks, I have the insert on mine and she's got hers trapped on that one wall, and then she's like, I'm going to put a little piece here and see how it looks. And now she likes where it's growing, and we just got to keep trimming it back and trimming it back. But yeah, the branching looks so beautiful.
Thanks. And it's super easy to frag too, because I just take some regular scissors and it just cut it. It's like cartilage. You just snip it real quick.
That was about to be my next question for that. It's like, how do you? Oh, look at
It's
your little
super
show off
easy.
there.
And then like it forms a tube. So what I'll do is I'll take like the plastic tip of a super glue, and then I'll either glue that to a frag plug or a rock, and then I'll put the GSP on top of that. So it kind of just like anchors it on there, and then it just spreads from there.
That's really smart.
But
cool.
Yeah, this tank's doing good. Got a couple new acquisitions. I don't think this rock was here last time.
That's the long Ghani, is it?
Yeah.
Look at the wave. That is beautiful.
Yeah, it's probably one of my favorites in here. It's tough because they're all my favorite, but
well, it's always
Yeah.
your favorite till you have your next favorite.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, if you ever
Exactly.
if you could ever only pick one coral, there's no way. It's impossible to say. That might be a good question for people who haven't been on before,
Yeah.
If you're on a desert island and you've got a reef tank and the power to run it, but you can only have one coral, what would it be?
That'd be tough.
Oh. What about you, Cindy? Let's have you answer that question.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I was just trying to get the here, let's do this. I was trying to get the tank up because it like the water is looking so beautiful and clear right now. I think it would have to be right now, today, in this 5 minutes, probably my Ulophilia, which is a maze brain. It's in the front right corner of the tank in my maze brain garden. And the video for reminding the live stream reminder, the Ulophilia is partway through where the music, like the talk, there's no talking, and the music transitions, and this big thing comes up, and it's a big ball. And that thing is just stunning. So, yep, today, right now, this minute, but maybe in half an hour it'll be the Gorgonian.
Right.
Cindy, what do you have under your tank?
I have plants. I've got snake plants. So, like, who knows? Maybe a little CO2 they might take up. Not a lot. And there's a light.
It's a really, really cool idea for not losing that space.
Yeah. Well, what I did not want was to give in to my usual impulse, which would be to store stuff under there, because I didn't want it to look junky.
Yeah.
And
the plants make it look beautiful.
Oh, thank you. And there's a light above, just shining down. It's not really a grow light or anything. It's just more for like effect than anything. But they get light from the window here, and they're a low light plant.
Yeah. So I've got 3 in my house right now.
Yeah.
My wife has started going a little crazy with pothos, but
yeah. Well, it's easy to do. I have a Cebu blue philodendron that I picked up really super cheap, and it's a vine, and it's grown about a foot since I've had it, and I'm kind of debating finding a nice trellis that I could maybe put it on something like in front of the window so that it doesn't grow on anything except where I train it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. I like plants too. My husband used to joke that you needed a machete to get into our living room, but I don't do that much anymore because they're messy. Hey, Jose Pina. Hi, guys. What size is your tank? Who wants to go first? Garrett, you have different tanks there.
Yeah, so this one's 38. All of mine upstairs are 20 longs, and then I got 2 20 longs and a 10 gallon, and then downstairs I got a 45 cube.
Wow. Lots to keep you busy. How about you, Mark? Ooh, he might have taken a break. I know Mark's got the 75 that used to be a 90.
Yep. I do.
And the freshwater?
The freshwater is a 32.5 fluval flex marine that was repurposed into freshwater because, well, happy wife, happy life.
Chevy Ruger, my wells or my scolies. That would be his favorite corals, I think. Definitely something to feed. Oh, there's a thought. Yeah. Yes, my tank, Jose, is 310 maybe of actual water, and it's 5 by 5 feet, 21 inches deep. So it's like having 3 5-foot viewing panes, really, is what it's like.
Cindy, why is it that you went so shallow?
Because I have short arms.
Makes sense.
And the second part of that answer is I really did not like always having to bend over to look into the tank. So this stand is 40 inches tall, and the tank is 21, plus there's an inch of plywood and crap under the tank between it and the stand. So I'm 5'4", and the top of the tank comes right to about here. So when I stand in front of my tank, I don't have to bend over at all. I can see everything in there.
Okay.
And usually when I look at the tank, I do stand because I can't, like, I don't have good distance vision. So it's fine to say, oh, sit in a chair and look at your tank. Well, I could do that and just see things moving, but I like to get right up and see the detail.
Yeah, I like to get up close. I like to get it like that close to where I can see like every single little polyp and all the little creatures and stuff.
Was that a Galaxia?
Yeah.
That is pretty. Usually they're darker, aren't they? Like darker purpley.
Yeah, this one is just like the just plain bright green. It was it was part of this guy was breaking down his tank and he had like maybe 4 polyps on the bottom.
Right?
And he was like, "Hey, you want to try this?" So I said, "Yeah, sure, I'll take it."
Yeah, I can put it on a rock 2 feet away from everything else.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I put it on this like little barnacle thing right here so that I could, if it did, like the sweepers haven't really been that bad. Not as bad as I've seen other Galaxia, but
Yeah.
it's mobile, so I can always move it.
Yeah. And you know what I've found with the sweepers? For example, frog spawn. They're not usually super aggressive and they're fine. But if you put something within a certain distance, that's when it sends out the tentacle looking for trouble.
Oh yeah.
So it's
like
like
you can smell another coral or something.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
a proximity thing.
This one sends sweepers out every now and then, this Bernard Pora.
Yeah.
But doesn't seem to today. It's I kind of isolated it, so I think the only other thing is that's near it is this one right here.
Yeah. Is that like a silver or blue?
It's like a silvery purplish blue.
And
if I touch it with the little
one, yeah.
It goes all white, so it's white underneath.
I want one of those. And do you know what it's called? Anybody?
I have no idea. I think when we had Alex on, he thought it might be a blue coral, which I also think. I don't really know because the blue colt corals that I see in these pictures, they grow like out.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, if you look underneath, it's kind of just like encrust.
Yeah.
And I did have that. So I had this one slab just on the sand bed. And then what I did was I built a little pedestal out of the Stax rocks.
Yeah.
So I could elevate it a little bit and it could kind of drape over.
Yeah.
But I had to, it's still kind of mad in the little tips because it was starting to touch the bird's nest. So I had to trim the bird's nest back.
Well, and the nice thing about it too is that it's not orange or green.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty hard to find shades of blue.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, this is another blue one that I have. It's kind of like a bluish baby blue turquoise.
Yeah.
And I think it's a Nephthia, but because it grows super slow and it's really not as aggressive as a grower as the other ones are.
Yeah. Yeah. So Alex had a lot of these sinularias and pink Japanese Nephthias and things like that. And I don't know what the status is of those right now, but I know he was having trouble with them when he was having his tank problems. So I guess, if you end up with some of those in your frag tank.
Yeah, I got them covered.
Yeah.
And this is a Bower Banky that I have I really like. It's like it's hard to tell because I got the white lights on, so it's not as flashy, but it's kind of like a dark maroon.
Oh yeah.
And then it has like gold streaks in it.
Oh, nice.
And then I also like my fungia.
Yeah.
Little Cycloceras plate here. It was eating a starfish, an Astorina, earlier. I think that's why its mouth is kind of puckered.
So
I saw Diaceras in one of the local fish stores, and you hardly ever see those things.
Yeah, I think I might have one of those in the BioCube, but I'm not sure.
Look at this.
I like these Yumas.
Yeah.
These are really doing well. And then there's, just some regular evasive Paleothelas and stuff. They're kind of spread out throughout.
I'm being very selective about what pallies get moved and zoas into the tank, just for that very reason. I want the slow growers.
Yeah, I got all the fast growers downstairs. I'll head that way.
Hey, Mark.
What,
Oh,
what's that?
oh, your lights are off, aren't they, Mark?
Yeah, my lights went off there, so that was why I killed the camera. Nobody needs to stare at my ugly mug. I've got all 3 tanks have gone into their dark night cycle right now.
Yeah, well, this is what, 9:40, 10 to 10, and so mine back Atlantic has shut off.
Yeah,
And,
so
yep,
yeah,
go ahead.
for me it's 10 to 11 now, so my system is into moonlight mode, which doesn't give a lot. So
Yeah, there's that green thing. Wow,
Yeah.
that's
So
gorgeous.
this one kind of has a cool growth pattern. It kind of there was 2 of them on one, and then I put them on a stack rock, and I was going to cut off the one that was attached to the other rock, but it kind of started doing this cool little bonsai type growth pattern.
and what is that one? Is that
this tang?
No, not the tang, the coral there.
Oh, I think it's a Cinularia.
Okay.
Green Cinularia. And then there's I think it's a Capnella Kenya tree right here. It's just like a plain pinkish purplish.
Yeah, I've got one of those in mine. It hides at the back of my tank.
Yep.
Ironically. And he stays to that area, so I've just kind of left him alone.
Yeah, this one's actually started to attach to the back glass. So I'm like, yep, all right, that's your home. That's it.
Do you find you have to always pick up droppings from it?
No, this one hasn't dropped anything at all, which is kind of weird because I heard that they're like notorious for just like baby dropping. But,
I was pulling them out every 3 or 4 days. I was finding a new one.
Man. Yeah, this one has kind of stayed put. I don't know. It's kind of going to war with these pink mohawks, or I call them pink aptasia, but they're super evasive. So I put them right next to each other, seeing kind of what would happen, and it looks like both of them are pretty pissed off. So.
Marcus Aerolis says that green one, that's the monster I remember.
Yeah. Yeah, this one used to be in the 38 upstairs, and it got way too big for its britches.
Wow, it's such a nice color. And Sammy31Dee is wondering what kind of nutrient levels you have with the leathers.
Oh, with these, I couldn't tell you. I am a horrible tester, and I've actually never tested this tank at all for any of the parameters. I just kind of stick to weekly water changes, and then I'll feed like a little bit of pellet during the day, and then they get a little bit of frozen every day, and I rotate which frozen that they get.
That's because you got fish in there, right?
Yeah. Like this big lady right here.
Mm-hmm.
It's an elongate tang. Oh. And when I first got her, they said that she was a white cheek, and she was only about like 2 inches, all black. And then as she started growing, you started to see that she wasn't, and there's no white spot. And she started getting these stripes. It's kind of hard to see now because it's a little bit bluer, but
yeah, the white cheek that I want, which is the Acanthurus nigricans, is also called a gold rim, and it has a beautiful yellow. Like the powder blue has the yellow dorsal and.
Oh yeah, right on the trim.
Yeah, nice. Lee White, Cindy, you gave me pause about the Sarah Marine after you said your fish rejected mastic, since mine love mastic, but luckily they took the onips too. Oh, that's good. Yeah, my fish love that stuff, but they wouldn't touch the mastic. They didn't. It was like they didn't know what to do with it. Anyway, sorry. Marcus Aerolis says they like dirty water, but are filter feeders, so can keep in clean water. Yeah. Fletcher Wright, hey Fletcher, is asking what lights you have on that tank, Garrett.
This one is a Refi Uno.
Cool.
I won it in a Christmas auction with my local reef club.
Oh,
So,
nice.
yeah. And then for filtration down here, it's pretty basic. Filter sock, heater, and then you can see some sponge down there. And every now and then I run this skimmer.
Now, is that sponge naturally occurring, or is that something you put in?
It's naturally occurring. I didn't put any of it in at all. And I think it must have just come in on either some of the coral substrate that I put in there, or some of the old rock, because I did seed this tank with some of the old rock from some of the other systems.
Yeah, I have blue sponge on my bubble coral skeleton, and I don't know if you remember back when I had Lucy, the giant bubble coral, and the green wrasse kept dropping sand in her mouth and almost lost her. But she's coming back, so she's in the back corner, and there's a large segment of her skeleton, her original skeleton, and it is absolutely covered with little blue tube sponges. Like they're probably the size of my thumb, and there's a big opening in them. Like if you know the big barrel sponges, they look like.
Yeah. I think that's what some of these white ones are.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get in there.
And I really thought the Genicanthus angelfish would eat them when they got put in this tank, but they don't touch them that I know of. So I'm hoping the Coral Beauty, when I put it in, will go to town and clean them up.
Yeah.
I was having to siphon them out with a pipette because they were starting to grow over the edge of the skin of the bubble coral. Like when it was closed up at night, I could see them like right up against it and starting to encroach on it. And so I thought, like, that was early days when it was just looking like it might actually survive. It's not real big, but it's getting there. So I'm hoping that the angelfish will clean them up.
Yeah. Because I mean, this stuff hasn't. I mean, it hasn't really gotten near any coral, but I like it that it's staying down here in the sump.
Yeah.
For now, it's like I think it's pretty good filtration.
It's nice and clean too down there.
Yeah. Yeah. I just do a 5-gallon water change. I'm actually getting ready for one right now.
Yep.
But it's super easy because I have the Kedsum.
Yep.
So I just plop that in there, and then it's done.
Tony Close says Nephthia are better than Kenya trees because they are not as prolific apparently and don't spread as much. So.
Okay.
Sorry, Mark.
Are you guys dosing amino acids in any of that by chance?
I dose Coral Essentials, and that's the only amino that I add. And it has a daily dosing program, but I only dose Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, about 2/3 of the recommended amount. So like very low level.
Yeah, I've just started going with the Two Little Fishes Acro Power.
Oh yeah.
And I switched from the Red Sea AB Plus, and I've noticed quite a bit of a difference. My nitrates aren't as high.
Nice.
They're still there, thankfully.
Yeah.
Yeah, be careful with the Acro Power, because I've experienced dinos, because there's something in it that actually I think takes the nitrate and phosphates out and bottoms it out. I've been using for amino acids in the 38. I've been using Fuel for Reefs by Aquavitro.
Yep.
Okay.
Which is CChem.
Yeah, which is CChem. Yeah, they're a division of CChem. And I like that one because it has trace elements in it as well. It's got like some molybdenum and manganese and some other good stuff.
Yeah, no, I switched over to the Acro Power for one was the price. I was able to get it for such a good cost, but I can also set it up on my doser, and as long I don't have to worry about the refrigeration aspect of it
or shaking it.
That too.
Yeah.
So I can just kind of, once I usually do it on the first of every month, I go out, buy a bottle and slide it in.
Yeah, it's so easy when you can have it on a doser, and then that way you don't really have to rely on yourself.
Well, I mean, I have the AquaPower, the AquaForest 123 Plus, all on my doser. And then with what I do for pellet feed and my frozen and all that, like I run my skimmer 24/7.
Yeah, Sammy.
Yeah, see, I don't. This skimmer, I run it like maybe for like 10, 15 minutes if I feed too much. But that's about it. I mean, whatever's in the skim cup, that's from like 4 months.
Wow.
So I really haven't been skimming all that much. I think what's also keeping it in line is I'm doing Kalkwasser with this one, and
Okay.
just regular saturation, and it's just getting gravity fed.
Thank you, because that's what I want to try. We were talking about this last week.
Yeah, so the only thing about it is you really have to make sure that it's clean, and like whenever I do water changes, I always just like tip it just to make sure it's still going, because it's gotten clogged just a few times.
Yeah, and I mean, I have small brushes. I could make it a habit every day to jam the brush in the end of the tube.
Yeah.
Right. I'm thinking the valves might, I don't know. I have to look into it, because I'd much prefer to do something that's free flowing, that I can just control, like it's continuous.
Yeah.
So that I can just control the speed at which it doses, rather than get into a dosing pump, because it's going to eventually wreck the dosing pump. And you'll go through a whole period of inaccurate dosing as it starts to clog up or become a problem. So yeah, I still have to do a bit more reading about that. Sammy31 was saying that he has fuel and AquaPower. AquaPower supposedly is sugar water, hence it's a form of carbon dosing. Yeah, sugar water, I don't know, that sounds dismissive, but I had read that AquaPower was a form of carbon dosing, so it makes total sense about feeding the bacteria that gets rid of nitrate. So yeah.
Yeah, and then just bottoming out your nutrients.
Fuel primarily, but I used AquaPower for a long time when I had my 20-gallon SPS tank, or like stony coral tank, and it was an amazing little tank for the year that I had it, start to finish. I've got it on my YouTube videos. It was crazy how fast the stuff grew in there.
Yeah, I noticed a big bit of growth spike when I switched over to it, especially with the SPS that were in there.
Yeah.
But I was finding with the Reef AB Plus that I was getting a lot of almost like a dust algae.
Oh.
Not quite dinos, but just the glass was always dusty looking.
Mm-hmm.
Was it like a diatom?
No, like that's what was kind of surprising, is it wasn't a diatom.
Yeah. It's so hard to know. I saw this crap on the sand, and I fluffed the sand last night just because it was bugging me so much. And it is a coating. It's not just like powder. It's an actual blanket of something. So I don't know whether the cyano is back. When I did the ChemiClean treatment, I treated as if it were for 450 gallons instead of 600, because of course I wanted to be cautious, and it worked. But my bad. I probably should have gone ahead and done the 600 gallons, because it obviously is not completely gone, whatever that is. So.
Yeah, that's really strange.
Chevy Ruger, I want to show off my tank on here someday. Well, Chevy Ruger, you can do it anytime you want. All you have to do is send an email to reefgrrl@gmail.com, and I can send you the link. You don't have to do it tonight. We're after 10 o'clock, but yeah, and I got an early morning tomorrow. But yeah, if you, I put out a video every week that is a reminder. So if you subscribe, or if you already subscribe and you get the notification bell, you'll get notified of that video. And the email address is right in there. So by all means, it's, nobody in here bites, right, guys?
Not hard anyway.
No.
Is that ever a nice view, Garrett? That is cool.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. I'm actually kind of digging this tank. I think I'm going to take all the zoas out and rearrange it a little bit. But yeah, it's coming around for me. There was a time when I didn't really like it. I just wasn't sure what to do with it,
Yeah.
And how to set it up. But
Yeah.
I'm liking it so far.
Everything evolves, right?
Yeah. It's not. I mean, on the real reef, it doesn't stay like that forever. Tornadoes come or tsunamis come through and can just wipe it out. Or
yep. I remember a big sort of epiphany I had when I was in college, because I went to forestry school, and one of the things that we learned about was biological cycles within the landscape, like wetlands. Wetlands aren't always wet. Gradually, all of the vegetation grows in. It becomes, first it's wet, then it becomes boggy, and then it becomes marshy, and then it slowly turns into not wetlands. So it's a very natural cycle, and everything in nature is like that,
Yeah, and sometimes when things are going wrong or whatever in the tank, I just I just kind of keep what I'm doing, and it just kind of just sorts it all out. And I've kind of what I've been doing with water changes is like I'll keep the new salt water like a little bit cooler than the actual tank, and then once that water, like, it'll go through the sump, and then when it's coming out, it gives kind of like that cool little rush that you get every now and then, when you're in the ocean.
The refreshing.
Yeah. So
yeah, I know what you mean.
I'm definitely guilty of that one. When I do my water changes, when I mix my salt, I mix it at 20 degrees Celsius.
Yeah.
So, I mean, by the time when I set it, it's mixed, and then it goes into my system. My system runs at 26 degrees, roughly. I know I run a little bit warm.
Yeah, I run a little bit warm too. I'm at like 79.
Oh yeah.
So that's been kind of the sweet spot for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, this tank back here runs at 78.5 usually. And the basement, because the heating and everything is down there, the tub that has the heating coil in it is usually about 82.
Oh wow. Okay.
But by the time it gets pumped up and through and comes into here, because it has to go through the pipes and everything, and then the water that comes back down that's where I can tell the difference in temperature is about 0.5 degree through every tub that it goes through. So it took a while to figure it all out. Marcus Errol has said something different. Me too. Oh, about showing the tank. My policy defaults to no, because what you show, YouTube owns. Yeah. Well, there are choices when you upload a video about embedding and sampling and all of that, and I always say no, because this is a little rant of mine. It's a pet peeve about Instagram. I hate aggregator accounts. I can't stand seeing the same thing over and over again, and they don't say what they're showing. All they say is follow me, follow me, follow me. So I block those accounts because I'm not interested in that. I like to see the original video that the person put up about what happened to them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, these aggregators are terrible.
So this is something that I've been doing recently. It's kind of it's a bit cavalier, but I've been so this is all of the wastewater from this system, and it's coming up here, and there's also a place for it to drain to outside, but I've been using this for my top off for my 20-gallon long, and then I've been running that also with totally my 45. So the salt comes from this as well. And that's probably the reason I see so much sponge, is because there's so much silicates in it. But every tank that I'm running it on seems to be doing fine as far as just like top off water. So I've kind of been going with it. And then some redneck ingenuity. I didn't have to build a stand because we had a leftover commode.
Yeah, that's my next step is once everything gets leveled off here and I look at we're currently, me being military, the housing we have, I think next year my wife and I are looking to actually buy our own place, and I'm going to be running my water system directly into the house itself.
Nice.
Well, after seeing all the aqua you've got running in your basement, it just it made me so jealous because I have to keep hooking mine up to a tap and pulling it apart and then putting it back. And
yeah, well, you know, it's one of those things about maintenance. If it's easy, you'll do it. And when I remember when we first started talking about the Red Sea tank, when my husband bought it for me for my birthday, we spent a couple of months. Like, I got it in February and it was May before it was even on the stand. And a lot of that was trying to figure out ways that weren't going to piss me off when I had to do something and it was going to be hard to do, like crawling around on the floor and doing water changes and lugging buckets and all of that stuff. So the Red Sea was really good practice for figuring out ways to make things easier and more convenient. And then when we finally went to this system, it was like, okay, how do we make it so that I don't have to crawl around on the floor and can do everything at waist height and, you know, all of that. I'm not getting any younger. Connor Waddle. Oh, Sammy's just popped in. I'll bring him in as soon as Garrett. Connor Waddles asked, hey, Connor, what size trash can is the one on wood? It looks tiny. I can't find anything like that around me.
Oh, that's a 20-gallon Rubbermaid. And then the one on the toilet is the 30-gallon.
Nice.
And usually that's like pretty much all I need for like 2, maybe 3 weeks of like water changes and top off.
Yep.
And that's one of the reasons, like you said, make it easy. And that's why I made these the vacuum pack salt packs so that I know exactly, you know, how much is in it, and I can just do it that way and
that is
have my salt and be
genius.
done with it.
That's really smart. Yeah.
Definitely beats me sitting there scooping out of a bucket.
Do you
I just cut and go. I mean,
that's
and
a
then
really good idea.
and then this was life-changing, the utility pump.
Yep.
And then I also got for like cleaning the sump too. I got one of the little
those things are great.
The VCA ones. Yeah.
Yep.
I went and I spent the money and I picked up the Python.
Yep.
And the tap adjustment. So that was life-changing for me, just having that 100-foot of hose, one, but secondly, just hooking it onto the sink, turning it on, walking away, and then going to do all my vacuuming and my cleaning. And that's how I do my water change at the same time.
Yeah. Cool. Well, what do you think? Should we bring Sammy.Dee in?
Yeah, bring him in.
Let's do it.
In here before. All right.
Yeah. What's up, guys?
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, Sammy, welcome to the group.
Yeah, you guys, especially Cindy, inspired me to do the remote sump system. And the tank's been going through some changes, but like I've been battling some cyano the last month or two, but I've been dosing that Neo Nitro.
Yeah.
And it seemed to help for a while. Everything went away, so I quit dosing it, and then everything just kind of came back. So now I started dosing it again this week. But otherwise, the corals have been real healthy, and I don't know how good it's coming through on your guys' end. I've never live streamed, and I don't know, I'm just using my Samsung phone, so.
Yeah, no, it looks good.
But,
Hey, that's all I use.
You got it horizontal. That's step number 1 you're doing, right?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Now I'm looking at the small camera too. I can try and put a filter on. I don't know if that'll help, if it looks really blue for you guys or not, but
Hey, if you have a filter,
let's see if I got, yeah, I just got some glasses. I
yeah.
need to get one of the clip-on ones. Actually, these, I do have a clip-on, but they look a little better than the clip-on.
Good.
But yeah, the corals are doing all right. The actually, I just fragged this tank pretty heavily too recently, and filled up a frag tank with a friend. We're trying to start our own little gig here in Ohio. But yeah, you could probably definitely see the cyano now with the filter on. It's all taken over the sand bed. But
I don't think there's
anything
yet. Everybody gets cyano.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's a nice patch of whatever on the glass from where my urchin was yesterday when I cleaned the glass. But I don't know if I have anything really in here that's like crazy interesting. I do have some little frags from I don't know if you guys were watching with the other streamers, Chummingham's Reef.
Oh yeah.
Those are a couple of the little twigs on the Tonga branch there. Those are a couple of his.
Oh nice.
Oh, cool.
2 more of his right there. They're just kind of basing out right now. There's some Oregon tort. I don't know if I have it too high, but it's been getting kind of green in the insides of it.
Yeah, my always do better in lower light, like about 2/3 down in the tank. I found is the sweet spot in my tanks anyway.
Yeah, I probably
That
should.
green one in the back, is that a digitata?
Yeah, that's yep, that one I've been fragging pretty nicely recently too for the little frag tank me and my buddy are putting together. Yeah, there's some nice whatever cactus. What is that? Cactus pavona.
Pavona? Yeah.
Some green hydnophora. Actually, some of these are from Fish a Hex. I just reset the tank about 18 months ago.
Yeah.
So other than the frags from Chum's Reef, everything in here is probably 18 months old.
Yep.
Nice.
And the zoas, most of the zoa stuff you see are from the previous system, but they have definitely like flourished like crazy and taken over.
I have a hard time with some of this. They look beautiful.
Yeah, and this frog spawn probably was 3 times the size of this. I just fragged that up recently, and I didn't even have room for it in the frag tank, so I still have some down here.
Yeah.
My Lobo has been suffering because my Tang, which I don't know why, but my yellow Tang for some reason kept nipping at it, and I've been feeding him heavily. For some reason, he's got a taste for it, and I think it's just a weird thing about him personally. Hippo Tang, yep.
Oh, okay.
The tank is a 75 gallon. I know the tank police are probably going to yell at me, but
oh, they're coming for you.
They've yeah, they've grown up in this tank since they were minnows, basically, and I'm planning to probably upgrade to a nice like water box or something in the next year.
Yep.
And then that's about it. But underneath the tank is beautiful now. Well, it's messy now, but it's beautiful at least because now that you inspired me to move everything downstairs, I can get my junk under here, and even though it's messy now, it's clean compared to previous years.
You can at the dollar store you can get these racks. They're meant for inside your kitchen cupboard.
Yeah,
just a couple bucks each, and they have legs that fold out. I use those things everywhere to organize stuff. You can't believe how much space they save, and it's nice when you just look at them and everything's where it has a place, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I figure I could show you my sump real quick since it was all inspired by you.
Oh my God.
It's been so nice though, like to do a water change. I think the reason I've been having low nutrients is because for the first month or so, or a couple months, I was like water change happy because it was so easy and I wasn't paying attention to nutrients.
Yeah.
So I lost a few things.
So are you, when you do your fragging, are you having to be careful about alkalinity and calcium and all of that because of the healing?
Well, the system's on a Trident and it's all auto-dosed.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a little bit of a mess down here because it's only about a 6-month-old conversion. But it's been
Looks good to me.
hyper stable with the Trident, and I'm just using the BRS 2-part.
Yep.
And Neptune dose. There's the BRS additives.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm cheap. I'm a big fan of, I like the other high-end stuff. Like I have the Neptune lights, but I'm cheap when it comes to return pumps and power heads. I love the J-Bows. So I'm sure I'll get hate for that too, but.
No, I got to tell you, J-Bow was the first power head I could afford to buy back when all that was available was $600 wave engines. And then J-Bow came out with the WP series, the little power heads that cost around maybe $60, $70.
Yep.
Going back a ways. Yeah.
It's, for me, it's, I don't know. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. I love the Ecotech stuff. It hurts my feelings having to spend that much just for water flow. This is where the pipes come in.
I
can't bring myself to pay $1,000 for an MP60 that I can't even aim.
Right. Yeah. This is something cool I've been trying lately, although I'm probably going to take it offline. This is my refugium.
Oh, yeah.
And what's interesting about it is, I don't know if anyone's done this before. This is just kind of an idea that I had. I bought a trash can and I put a bulkhead in the side of it.
Mm-hmm.
And my reactor feeds it, and the bulkhead allows it to just overflow. So this is like my separate refugium chamber. No light bleed over here, no light bleed over there.
Mm-hmm.
Keeps everything in there. So if I need to clean any coralline or hair algae, whatever, I could just take it to my slop sink, clean it all out, and see ya. So.
Well, that was kind of similar to what we decided with our overflow. I have a trash can in the middle of a shallow rubber 50-gallon trough.
Mm-hmm.
The water comes down from upstairs. It hits the basket in the trash can, and then there are 2 bulkheads that then spray the water down into the shallow 50, and that's where my refugium is.
Okay.
I absolutely love how slick it is. It works.
Yeah, I probably couldn't get away with doing that with like a sump, but having the like I said, you were the inspiration for getting the remote sump done. And that was like a light bulb that went off. I was like, I'm just gonna buy a trash can, and you know,
if you have the space and you're lucky enough that that space is directly below where it is, and
right,
holes in the floor.
Oh yeah. It's been easy. And then doing the water changes has been a breeze, although I need to chill out, let the tank get a little bit dirtier. Probably would help if I had more fish in here. I've always been more of a coral person and went through phases with different species, and but I don't know, I just never got into fish that much, so I don't have too many fish in here. Right now there's just the yellow tang, the hippo tang, and there is a neon goby in here somewhere, but he's a little jerk, so I'm probably going to get him out.
Yeah, they the thing, is it a dotty back, or is it part of the dotty back family?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're all pseudochromis, I want to say.
Yeah, he's been pretty aggressive. He hasn't picked on the big fish, but I can tell like he likes to pick on the crabs and snails and stuff. And
here's a question. You mentioned your urchin on the back. Does your urchin pick up live snails and crabs?
No, he does not. But he does pick up frags, and he picks up empty shells and stuff.
Yeah, my guy picks up live crabs and live snails. And I've had to actually use my pipette to sort of get between the urchin and like kind of pry it really, really slowly off.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, the crab's going to die if he's carried around for a day or so upside down. Like,
Okay. I was trying to zoom in to show you the urchin back there, but I don't think I can zoom in. But there is an urchin.
Yep, I can see
back there. And there is another one, but he hides up. You probably won't be able to see him. He's right above that Harley shrimp over there.
Huh.
I don't know if I'm.
Cool.
You probably can't see him, but he's all black. He's above the Harlequin shrimp back there. He does a good job keeping the back of the tank clean of coralline. I'm kind of I don't know, one of the weird people who doesn't like to cover the back of the tank with coralline.
No, I'm doing that too in my new tank. I look back at the Red Sea tank, and when what I see is purple on the back, I don't see my corals. So I didn't want that to happen in this tank.
Yeah,
see,
I'm
that
thinking
was
about
something I was
scraping
just
off
about.
all the coralline on my one of my 20 longs and putting like some black wrap, like acrylic wrap or whatever on the back.
Yep. I've done that with the tank, but this tank I decided to try painting it, and it's worked out pretty well. I just used regular black Rust-Oleum roll-on paint, like kitchen or bathroom paint. This is the Acan I was asking you about earlier, Cindy. I'm gonna lose it because the tank's going through its nutrient issues.
Yeah, I'm not good. I can't really call myself anything of an expert with Acan. I just look at them and think, hey, it's doing pretty good. I don't know what I'm doing that's making it do pretty good, but
yeah, I wish the cyano wasn't everywhere, but oh well.
Sammy, what are your nitrates and phosphates at right now? Do you know?
They're really low. I think my nitrates are like 5 ppm and the phosphates are 0.1. So I'm at least the strategy this weekend for me, I thought was going to be run a little bit of Roaphos for a day or two, try to get the phosphates down, and continue dosing the neonitro to bring the nitrates up.
Well, you might
The
want to.
neonitro, do you know if that's is that potassium based or calcium based? I forgot.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Because I just used the last of it and I threw the bottle out. Otherwise, I'd probably check the back of the bottle. I was going to go to my LFS this weekend and buy another bottle.
Because you have your sump in the basement, right? So you could get away with using something like Fosban L or I like the Elimifos Rapid from Tropic Marin. It's essentially lanthanum chloride. And people flip out of chloride, but I have never found anything that worked as well as long as you dose it in an area away from your livestock, if you've got it, through some sort of a filter, like a 50 micron or 100 micron filter sock. Even 100 micron is good because of the precipitation of the particulates. And honest, I got to the point with my Red Sea tank where I did the math over a series of 2 weeks, and I knew exactly how much to dose to get the phosphate where I needed it every time I tested it. And honestly, that stuff is a lifesaver because it doesn't impact the nitrate. It just binds up the phosphate.
Right. Well, I did try using some Roaphos or the phosphate, the phosphate RX. I believe that's what it's called. It's lanthanum chloride type.
Yeah.
I think it's diluted a little bit for hobbyists.
Yeah.
But and I did like a quarter dose of what they were recommending, and I still had it just plummet. But it didn't help too that, like I said, I got water change happy because of how easy it was. It was like, 20-gallon water change, no problem,
Oh yeah.
And yeah. So now I'm trying to just slow down over the summer and let it kind of rebalance.
It's the cost of a water change, because when we do 100 gallon, I change out 80 gallons of the 600 at a time. And when you figure it costs you, 75 cents a gallon to make the salt water,
right?
Like, oh my God, it gets expensive.
Yeah, that's the way I've been working it is like I'll only do 5 gallons, a 5-gallon water change for my 38 once a week, but I'll take the old water, I'll bring it up to the top, put it in 120 long, and with that old water that goes to the auxiliary tank, and so I'm just kind of like a long trying to extend the water a little bit more.
Right. Yeah,
by
it
just
makes
running
sense.
it through some more tanks, because I don't run a skimmer on the 38. I just run just kalkwasser and a filter. And so when it goes into the 20 long upstairs, I have some Kato and stuff in here, and it really does a good job polishing up the water before it goes to the auxiliary tank.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that I actually do with mine as well. Is when I do my water changes, I recover part of the water from my 75 to do the water change on my 13.
There you go. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, good idea. Yeah, this is a nice looking tank.
Yeah, I like it.
It actually looked. I should see. I'm very terrible about taking pictures and all that. Like I said, I fragged out of it recently to stock a frag tank. Basically, I have a friend. She had a LFS in my local community, and COVID basically destroyed it. And I'm trying to help her hit the rebound button with some coral and some small investment. And we've been building out the place, and hopefully things take off, and it becomes sustainable again. But yeah, COVID pretty much put the kibosh on business for her. So
especially when you're starting out.
Right.
If you back to acans while I'm thinking about it, someone's mentioning spot feeding.
Yeah, and I had been spot feeding, and they actually were reacting quite well. I was using this stuff. It's called. This stuff's awesome, but it's not cheap.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
Have you tried baby brine?
I do. Yep. I feed the brine. I feed I guess not baby brine. I do the spirulina brine cubes.
Yeah. I found like when I was getting regression on a couple of my acans, spot feeding them with just turning off all my flow and spot feeding them with frozen baby brine shrimp.
Yep.
Helped kind of get them nice and fleshy and full again.
Yeah, I might try that because I've been struggling with them. I had a nice rainbow acan that grew out nicely for like a year or two, and I did nothing to it. No target feeding, nothing. And then I lost it, and like a year later, I bought this one recently, and it just has been slowly melting. Yeah, that food is great. I love that stuff. I feed it to the hammers, and I feed it to hammers and torches at the store, and they freaking go crazy for it. And I've noticed our those little anemones that are popular right now, rock flower anemones, they go crazy for it as well.
Yeah. Connor Waddle is asking about the type of lights you're running, because it looks like the acan is close to some SPS. So maybe it's a light thing.
It is, but I did have it in the sand bed. It was actually in the sand bed below this frag rack for a while because I thought the same thing. But I'm starting to think it's a nutrient issue, and then this cyano was starting to creep in. So I was like, let me just move it up a couple inches to see if I could save it and just keep the cyano from invading it, basically.
Yeah. Well, the master, was always Billy Pipes.
I might need to turn the lights down. They are Neptune skies. I've had them on the tank for a year now, but I don't think I run them any higher than like 60%.
Yeah.
And they're only, I don't know, 8 inches off the water surface.
Mm-hmm.
Have you done a par test?
No, I have not. I should start doing that. But
I'm excited about that new par meter that's coming out from the same guys who did Reef Delete.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
That one looks really good.
I saw that it has like a spectrometer in it too, I think.
Yeah. I think Fragbox TV did a little blurb about it. They were at Germany.
Yep.
Yeah, Fragbox. I love them guys too. They're great.
Oh, they're awesome.
Have you guys tried the Reef Delete?
No.
I used a file fish instead.
Yeah, I got a chance to use it, and phenomenally easy. Worked really easy, really quick. But I found what I ended up happening is after you're in there for about 2 or 3 seconds, and you're, for lack of a better term, zapping these things, all of a sudden, 2, 3, 4 days later, you're seeing 5, 6, 7 babies popping up.
Oh yeah, was
Yeah.
there that said that made that comment in the chat that it just pissed them off and you ended up with more?
Yeah, well, I mean, it killed off the original one, but what would happen is when it's dying, it just sends out all its little spawn.
Spores. Yeah, it's like it's dying breath.
Yep.
Sends out a bunch of babies so that their wonderful species can survive.
Yeah. I would love to get a good file fish, but the last one that I had, he just looked at it and went, "Yeah, I'm not interested." And well, damn it, I don't have the spare room right now, so he got relocated to a new home.
I've always had good success with Aptasia X and peppermint shrimp. There's actually a peppermint shrimp probably in this system hiding somewhere. I don't ever see him. But between Aptasia X and peppermint shrimp, I've never really had issues with Aptasia.
Yeah, the peppermint shrimp was the next one I was going to try.
I've always had the best luck with peppermint shrimp. I've never had to use anything else. Yeah.
The only thing I don't like about peppermint shrimp is that when you're trying, like when I was trying to like spot feed some corals, they would just come right over and just steal all the food.
They do. It's true.
It got me so mad. I made like one of those like Inappropriate Reefer did like the little the feeding protectors or whatever with like just
I have a couple of those.
1
Yeah.
liter bottle.
I have a video. It's called Gorgeous George the Trachyphilia about using one of those. Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
that you remember, Cindy, like when I had the 2 Trachyphyllias.
Uh-huh.
And I had lost the one because a hermit crab went in and ripped open the mouth to take the food out of the Trachyphilia.
Yep.
And then he never recovered and I lost him.
Yeah, it's so hard. I sometimes wonder if they have a limited lifespan in an aquarium. The only person I can think of.
You don't see like really huge colonies as much.
Phil, I think in his 58, he has a massive one. If I'm thinking of the right girl that he's had for many years. Yeah.
That's a beautiful Monty cat.
Yeah. It's been doing pretty well. I'm going to have to get at it here soon, though. It's getting ready to climb up the glass. So you can see I've kind of slowed on cleaning the glass there where it's kind of dusty.
Yeah. That's one of the few corals that, unfortunately, in my area, there's not a lot of them at all.
Oh, really?
It's kind of been the same around here where I've been because I don't know if it's just been the trend, but it seemed like for about 5 years there, everybody was into all these encrusting Monties and all the caps kind of disappeared. And this one came across my LFS and I was like, I'll take it. Even though it's, one of those classics.
I really don't see the caps around my area a whole lot either. I see a lot of the encrusters, the Paloensis and Crazy Teas and Beach Bums and all the,
I just love the simple red Monty cap because as it scrolls out, it just looks like a rose.
It's so cool.
I would love to find I don't know where I first saw it, but it was a Monty cap that was a melding. It was a green and a red together.
Oh yeah,
nice. And it was a cap?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were starting to turn up a little bit more at frag swaps even. Because people
I'm pretty sure that's a common for worldwide corals. They have a grafted Monty cap that's a red-green grafted.
Yep, the prices are coming down.
I used to have a Ling Sai cap. It was green with like the purple rim on it.
Yeah.
which is a cool classic coral.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I still had that, but
Hey, doesn't I'm trying to think of who. I'm pretty sure Telegram has one. I mean,
you know what? I think he might. Yeah.
And isn't he always cutting his stuff back because it's growing so fast? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think he ships though.
No, I think he gives them away a lot locally, and then people will bring him like bacon or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, you were talking about Cindy. You were talking about stingers from your frog spawn or something earlier. You can see there's a dead Polypora colony that they got too. But all of this Pocky that's in my tank, other than this piece here, there's little colonies of it like all over now.
Yep.
They've all just kind of sprung up.
Yep.
Through the chaotic transition of the adding the sump and the nutrients swinging and so, but I'm like, hey, that's fine. I got a bandsaw now, so it ain't nothing to pull a rock out and rip a piece off and
And those cut pretty easy. They're not like some of these like stylophoras. Like I have this Milka stylo where I have to like wrench it really hard like that. Yeah, exactly.
It was bigger, and you could probably tell where I snipped at it, but yeah, that thing's like cutting bones or something,
Yeah. I saw Jake Adams like just used a little small hammer to frag his off because it was so big and it was in spots that he just couldn't get with the clippers.
Yeah.
Connor Waddle has a question. Speaking of shrimp, what do you guys think of hawkfish? I just set up a new tank. I love them, but I want to have shrimp. I have always had hawkfish, and I have never had problems with shrimp. But CJ's Aquarium swears his hawkfish murdered all the shrimp.
Oh yeah, I remember that with CJ.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess if you get a small enough hawkfish to start,
and big enough shrimp,
then if he can't get it in his mouth, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, typically, with my experience with the hogfish, if it fits in its mouth, it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that is a dotty back. Is it?
Huh.
Well, it was sold to me as a neon dotty back, and he's just been kind of a little bully.
Yeah.
You can't really bully the other two fish that are bigger than him, but I've seen him kind of picking at my snails. So
looking for trouble.
Yeah, I have one, or my ex has one in her BioCube, and she wants to get a Harlequin shrimp. And I just feel like that dotty back is just gonna eat it and have like an $80 snack.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's other jerks in there too. Like there's a 6-line wrasse in the same tank, and I'm worried about. And then like 2 jerk clownfish, but I don't think they would harm it.
Yeah. I think it's down to the individual fish because they all have their personalities, and you just sort of try your luck maybe, or decide what you want more. I had 3 skunk cleaners. I called them the 3 sisters in the Red Sea tank for probably a year and a half with a hawkfish. And I think they just died of old age slowly, all 3 of them.
I never really had trouble with hawkfish other than, the fact that they'd walk on everything and you'd want to look at, your zoa garden and everything's closed up. And you'd have that moment of panic, like, what's going on? And then you'd see the hawkfish 5 inches on the other side of the colony or whatever. And, it must have been him.
He was just perching on it. Yeah.
Lee White says my hawkfish always took out my inverts.
Yeah.
I'm talking a flame hawk. So that's the only kind I've ever had, other than the big hawk, but that's not really a hawkfish.
Yeah, I had a hawkfish for about a week, and I didn't have a good enough lid, and he jumped.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's such a shock because they can barely swim because they don't have a swim bladder.
I know, it was so weird, and it was like this little tiny corner, and there's like barely enough space for anything, but I guess he went up in there and something spooked him out, and he got right out.
Yeah, we have no idea what happens after dark.
Sammy, is that a digitata you have in there?
Yeah, there's green digi in here, and there's forest fire digi, but for some reason, my forest fire, I don't know if it's a trace element issue, it doesn't get like the hyper green tips.
Yeah.
If I was to like irritate it a little bit, you probably won't see it well on camera, but you can see it's got the green skin underneath.
Yeah, I can see the changeover.
It just doesn't have the green tips. So I don't know, maybe it's a lighting thing. I'm a heavy blue person. I know, things are changing. It seems like some people are changing back to a little more white. So I don't know, maybe I'll be convinced to go back, but I've always been heavy blue since LEDs became the thing, and corals grow for me. So,
well, I have the same lights as you do, and I'm currently running on the coral growth setting.
Okay, yep.
And I've been doing it for about 2 months now. And yeah, like you say, you run the heavy blue. I don't notice a big difference myself.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I run the Neptune Sky setting or whatever it is. I was gonna see if this would work for a top down. But I have been considering going to the coral growth mode to see if I got any improvement with that. I don't know if this is coming out, but I'm using a no filter. I'm using a specimen container. And if I drop my phone, if you lose me from the stream, that means I dropped my phone in the tank. Let's see.
I laugh because I've done that.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah. Yep. I lost my filter glasses. Oh well.
Do the skies have a do they have like a photo mode? Have you toyed around with that?
I could pop it on, yeah. That'll.
Yeah, I haven't used the photo mode myself, but I know it does have it.
See
yeah,
if
I know Malev.
Guys.
Oh, there it is.
Okay, yeah.
Because I know Marc Malev, he does his on photo mode for his streams, and it always looks pretty good. Oh yeah.
That is nice.
That is nice. I just love the growth pattern of those.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame that we don't build more shallow tanks for top-down views. Ignore the cyano.
Already ignored.
Yeah, that's some rainbow granulosa.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Green hydnophora. The orange one is I think it was sold to me as gold samacora. Rastas, more cactus. The digi. That's my Oregon.
That's the Oregon. Okay.
Camera focus, please. I don't know if it's gonna focus, but yeah, you can see if it's got. Maybe you can make it out the green in there.
Yeah.
Maybe you can't. I don't know what it looks like if you guys are watching on your phones or TVs, but I know what live stream does to video quality.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my Oregon tour is kind of in around like 250 range, but it's kind of getting like a downward flow blasted on it, and it seems to really like that.
And I don't know what this is. See that little 3 polyp guy there?
Yep.
I don't know what that is, but I picked that up.
Looks like a dragon soul.
It does.
It was really pretty, and I was like, I'll take it. I don't even know what I paid for it, but I don't know. It's just really pretty. It's got orange and red and green and purple in it.
It almost looks like a sort of a blasto, but
it's to me. Let me get a little better view on it because I haven't been able to ID it.
What's the growth like? Is it like
that looks like a Goniastrea or
Are
I
they
don't know.
are they connected in, or is it
Yeah,
like they're just fleshy and separate?
They're connected. It looks like almost like it would grow out to be some kind of like brain or something.
Or a
Yeah.
moon coral,
Yeah,
which would be a goniastria or a paragoniastria.
definitely not a blasto.
It likes those LPS pellets that I've been feeding it. So I just thought it was cool because you can see there's red and yellow and like a purple blue rim and then the green center.
That is cool.
Yeah, it almost kind of looks like a Diploastrea.
I know that it came from eye-catching corals in the U.S. That's where my LFS gets their coral from. But yeah, wow, it looks pretty nasty with the top down and the cyano. I'm kind of ashamed of myself.
Oh, don't be.
But yeah, this thing's gonna get a reset pretty soon. I've got a whole bunch of. I got this. This is a box of rock that I've been playing with.
Oh, nice.
Try and figure out what I want to do with it. But at first, I want to drill it out, and I want to do that whole
Removal.
yeah, easy removal of corals, you know, and have everything on a plug basically. But I don't know. I've got 2 boxes of this rock. They're all the same shapes. It's the Carib Sea shape rock.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think the only thing I'm going to keep out of the old tank is the Tonga branches, because all the other rock in there is probably 15 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much crazy stuff. It's from back in the day when you could get the Haitian and the Fiji and the Connie and.
Yep.
I got 2 pieces of Fiji rock that I got from the tank breakdown, and man, they were really nice. They came with some cool stuff on them too, and of course some not cool stuff like permatids and stuff. But I really don't care that much.
Yeah. Well, that's something that's really changed in the years. Is like I've got friends that had original real live rock, you know, straight from the ocean, and then you compare it to what we usually start now. It's almost like our tanks are started all hermetically.
Yeah.
If you look real close at my live rock, I'm not kidding. It's 10, 15 years old.
Oh, that's cool.
The sponge.
I love those sponges.
There is crazy sponge growth on this rock. There's some purple sponge, red sponge, yellow sponge, green sponge. But I've never been lucky enough to grow any sponges that grow out in like stick formation. I always just get these ones that tend to just cover the rock. But this purple sponge I just kind of discovered recently, and you can see it's got like little vesicles or tubular
really cool
coming out of it. But yeah, this rock, you can see it's pretty messy and well aged. That's why I wanted to try some of the man-made stuff and see if the tank just, you know, cleaned up better and balanced out better. So.
And you know, the way we do aquascapes has changed too. You know, everybody's kind of got ideas. Then there used to be just the wall of rope, right? But now the options.
Yeah. And this scape has actually changed a few times in this system. So, and right now it's just kind of a mess. I, you know, was breaking sticks here and there to get my friend going again, and been paying more attention to her tanks than my own tank. So, but it goes like that sometimes, I guess. But this tank would probably not be running, you know, even as good as it is if it wasn't for the Apex. I mean, that thing's just been I know a lot of people will say it's overkill, and I was one of those people, but that thing has changed my mind completely.
I don't suffer from overkill. I suffer from trust issues.
Right. So. And I can definitely respect that, because I have a friend who has Apex and he's had it for 10 years, you know, and he's the opposite way now. I'm going back to the old way. Less is better, you know, and he's got a 300 gallon in his living room. So I mean, what works for you, I guess.
Well, and the thing is that the advantage is knowing what's going on in your tank, because you're a lot more hands-on and you're more involved with doing all of those little sort of manual tasks. that that you could have automated, but by getting in your tank and doing it all the time, you're looking at your tank and you're noticing things. I'm a detail person, so the stuff that I notice, I would never notice if I just did all that stuff automatically. I don't know. It's hard to articulate, but I just feel more connected with it.
I would like to get the hydros just for monitoring. Right now, I just have like this pinpoint pH monitor, and it got out of whack recently, and I can't get it to calibrate correctly.
Yeah, those little are really hard to calibrate. And I have a hydros. I just haven't got it hooked up yet, but I now know the things I want to do with it. So we're one step closer to hooking it up.
Yeah, I think that hydros is going to do well in a couple of years. I think a lot of people are going to be on board with its, affordability and just that ease of mind, especially if you're a vacationer.
Yep.
And you still, even if you have someone you can trust when you're out of town, it's still nice to have that app.
Yeah.
Check.
Peace of mind.
Yep.
That's what brought me into the Neptune systems, was having that connectivity when I'm not home.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing is, now that they've got the plug, beside the thing that I want to control. So
I wouldn't mind trying a hydros. I just fell in love with the auto testing feature, and I guess if they had that, then I'd probably, be all about trying one of those right away.
Well, I think they are they are doing an update to where it will communicate with the Mastertronic and Alcatronic, I believe, for the hydros. And I think the only problem is that it'll only chart for like a week at a time.
Sammy, have you got there's something up with your audio? I like there's feedback coming through it. That's why I keep unmuting your mic and muting it. So I don't know if you're close to a speaker or something, maybe.
It might have been just my window was open and I was daydreaming. I live on a main road, so you probably heard cars buzzing by and stuff.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know. Did that make it better? I closed the window. If not, then it's fine. I mean, I can hop off. I just figured.
Oh, no.
You guys were sharing tanks, and I was like, I'll show you my tank, even though it's a mess.
No, I'm not suggesting that. I was just muting and unmuting your mic, trying to figure out about the back. Dee from Brooklyn says, nice tank. And Bruce says, spot on. It's good.
Yep. Cool. Well, I suppose I'll hop back off and I'll just keep participating in the chat.
Cool.
My phone's getting ready to low battery warning me.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your tank.
Yeah. Sorry, all the frags aren't happy. Some of them are rescues from the shop. I'm trying to save Little Hammer here, and some little guys here I'm trying to save. God hope that thing doesn't have bugs on it. I dipped it like 10 times. So sorry about the feedback.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to Jabo for the cool cheap pumps. What?
Yeah, Jabo for the win.
Awesome. I appreciate you letting me hopping on at short notice. That's pretty cool. I definitely think you could have a thing here if do like your weekly tank tour or something, and you just invite a Randy on, and either the Randy has an amazing tank or they don't, you give them advice, or same thing with me, like you guys gave me some tips too. There's a million different methods and always something to learn. That's what I love about this hobby.
Oh yeah. Well, I really love that people doing exactly the reason you said you want to do something. And then I too. So I appreciate the time you took to join in, and especially your first time. You did great.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was cool. I appreciate it. I'll pop back off and I'll join you guys back in the comment section because, like I said, this phone's gonna die.
And so now
maybe
that
I'll try to get on in like a couple more months or something. I'm gonna do a reset on the livescape and get the bandsaw out and cut everybody up and put them on discs and sticks so they can slide in and out of the rock. Probably get rid of all the zoas.
nice.
So
Cool. Well, you will go on the list now. So anytime anyone comes on, I email.
yeah. Yep.
So you can join her if you feel like it.
Yeah, sometimes I'm even listening to you guys when I'm in the little reef store. So maybe I'll pop on just to give you guys a tour of what's going on there, even though we're just a tiny little spot. We're like the size of a coffee shop, but it's cool to see, progress, and maybe it inspires even somebody by you guys like, hey man, this guy's doing it, I can do it,
Right.
So, all right, cool. I'm gonna pop off. I appreciate everybody for checking me out and let me pop on last minute.
No worries.
All right, I'll see you guys in the chat.
See you again.
Bye.
Oh, that was cool. You can see my lights are off now, except for the forward Atlantic, which I have no idea why. Let me just turn the screen up. Just that one is on. Something has happened to the programming. I have to go in and fix it. But anyway,
Yeah.
Look at the
All right,
time. 11 o'clock.
I've got midnight my time, so I'm going to disappear to La La Land.
Okay.
I'll be in touch. We have a new order coming in here for salt water again at the shop that I'm with, and
nice.
Hopefully we get some nice, pretty stuff. Maybe I'll send you a video if you want to have a peek.
Oh, sure. I'm always interested.
So I know we're due for something like 15 new acanthophyllias. So.
Oh boy.
Oh, nice.
That's crazy.
It's great. The shop that I don't know how the owner does it, but he's got a really good connection for straight out of the Indos.
Yeah, my LFS is the same. He direct ships from places like that, Australia. When Indo opened up again, Malaysia, he can get some stuff from the Caribbean. So it's great.
Yeah. I'm still chasing my yellow tang. That's the one fish that I still want to get in my tank. And once I have him, that'll be the end of my fish. Yep. Until I have a tank your size. And then, we just start all over again.
That's right. Well, I don't know. I'm really glad I saved everything and moved it instead of starting all over from scratch, because it was a really big incentive to keep moving forward,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, especially with everything that you went through with that tank. I mean, I don't know how you have that much patience, but I'm telling you.
Oh, there's a lot of swearing. Yeah, I'm quite creative with it when I have to be, when I can be. But yeah, it's you reach a point where it's a point of no return. It's like all the stuff that's happened, and you go, okay, and you learn to accept it, and then the next thing happens, and you go, oh, okay, and you learn to accept it, and you get to a point where it's like, whatever happens now, you just got to keep moving forward. So,
yeah. Well,
that's the only thing you can do in this hobby.
It's true. And
keep doing what you're doing.
Yep. And just try to step back, don't panic, and figure it out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nothing happens fast in this hobby if it's good.
That's right.
Yeah, bad things happen fast. Good things happen
there is
slow.
that. Yeah, there is that.
All right. Have a great evening, everybody. Take care.
Yeah, thanks for coming by, Mark.
Mark.
Bye.
Cool. Sammy says that was cool. Thanks. It's okay to razz my tank. I can take it. Honestly, I don't.
No, it looked good. Like I don't really look at cyano. I can just ignore it.
Yeah.
And usually, within like a couple of water changes, it just kind of goes away. For me, anyway. I don't know. I feel the same about bubble algae too. Like this bubble algae here, like I don't even like mind it anymore. It just kind of goes away. It has its cycles.
Sure, it's become a sculpture.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't believe in okay, I don't believe in criticizing people for stuff that happens to all of us. And I don't understand why there's a stigma out there for the stages that we go through. I mean, I hate it when my tank looks ugly, but it doesn't really make me want to hide, you know?
Right.
I would never ever dream of saying to somebody, "Oh my God, that looks terrible," because really, what do we often talk about where we look at our tank and all we see are the negatives?
Yep.
We don't see the positives in our own tank. Someone else looking at your tank sees the positives, right? And you might notice this or that, but it's relatable because it happens to all of us, Yeah. I don't know. I just can't mean.
I like showing my tank to like people who, aren't reefers that, they're like, "Oh man, that's really cool." And I'm like, "Actually, you're right. That is cool." I just kind of glaze over it and
Well, so much of that stuff is temporary. And we were talking earlier about how we shouldn't always jump on things and try and do something right away or add chemicals or whatever. And I'm guilty of leaving things too long to where they do become a problem.
Right.
Instead of nipping them in the bud. And now I have to find that balance where pick the things that I can take care of right away rather easily instead of letting them become a problem. But things that you do have to just let them work themselves out or burn themselves out, learning to identify what that is and just work with it,
Yeah. And that's the thing. A lot of like new reefers, I think, is kind of their like downside is that they'll freak out at a lot of little stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh my gosh, this ugly hair algae is all over my tank," and what they really need is to just, chill out, remove as much as you can manually, get some good cleanup crew in there.
Yeah.
Because, I've heard people say you don't have an algae problem, you have an herbivore problem, and you need some more things to combat that and balance
honestly,
it out.
When I had that 90-gallon tank and I had all my fish in there, the holding tank, and I lost my 3 big herbivores, that's when the algae started going nuts. And right at that moment was when I learned how important they were in the system. And I guess I just always thought, "Oh, I feed them, I do this, I do that." I had no clue how much work they did picking away all the time until they were gone.
That's all they do all day.
Yeah, in 2 weeks, it just exploded. Yeah, Marcus Aurelius says, pro tip, controversial. You know why the cyano goes away after a water change? It's because the salt mix has phosphate in it. Yeah.
I've heard there are, quite a few salt mixes with phosphate in it. Last time I checked my phosphate a few months ago, it was like 0.02, and it was fine.
Well, my phosphate on my last test was 1 part per billion, which translates to 0.0003.
Wow.
So
that's a small amount.
But the thing is, in sort of perspective, I still do have some green algae growing, like green hair algae, a little bit, not much, in the 150 section of the sump on a rock pillar. My Cato is growing out of control, and we cut it in half and took half to the LFS this week on Monday. So there obviously are nutrients in the water because those things are growing like nuts.
Right.
So what that tells me is that the measurable leftover amount is only 1 part per billion. It doesn't mean there are no phosphates. It just means that everything in there is consuming it.
It's bound to that, to whatever you know, the algae or.
Yeah. Chevy Rigger says, I'm always worried to show off my tank. I see Instagram tanks and think less of my own. That said, I do like my tanks. I really, as far as the pretty tanks on Instagram, when I see them, I usually look for something in the caption that says why they're showing that particular thing. And more often than not, I'm disappointed because it doesn't say anything. So yeah, you glance at the pretty picture, you give it a like, and you move on. I would much rather see somebody show something that's happening in their tank and put a caption in that talks about it. And I mean, that's what I do. And I spend a lot of time doing that. And I don't know if other people care about that the same way I do, but you can see zillions of pictures of pretty corals and pretty tanks just on Google. But it's the interaction of figuring out somebody showing something that's happening and you're going, oh yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's like learning from it.
It's like a better Reef to Reef. Like I haven't been on Reef to Reef in a couple years, but like, you know, kind of about those pretty Instagram tanks that kind of make you feel less about your tank because they're not as pretty. Reef Builders did a really good article and they talked on Reef Therapy about the old saying, you know, don't look at fashion magazines, it'll make you feel ugly.
Exactly.
So, you know, I kind of take that and roll with it. And like on Instagram, I like seeing the tanks of regular reefers that are just, you know, they're just either taking some pictures of their tanks, saying what's going on or whatever, but you know, the actual ones, not like, oh, you know, I got this, and this, and I'm sponsored by these people, and you know, this is powered by Aquaforest or whatever, you know, and I like the raw reefers.
I don't know. Like I said, I have trust issues, and if I see stuff that's too perfect and there's never any details on it, like when people there's I use Reef Pro 2-part, and there's like Reef Pro Store or Pro Reef Store. They always show beautiful pictures of corals. They never say what they are. I wish they would say what they are. If they don't know the species, even a common name of some sort, because I want to know more about it. If I see it and it's beautiful, I might want to look it up, right?
Right.
Hey, Casey Wagner, there was a thread on Reef to Reef this week about getting clarity in the water and removing more crap by adding a few drops of a calcium carbonate solution. Yeah, I was reading something about calcium carbonate powder acting as a flocculant to pull microscopic particles out of the water, and you know, it makes a lot of sense. But I want
to bind it all up and filter it out.
Yeah, like coral snow. That's the thing about snow, right? And I just want to do some more reading to find out exactly how it works. And I don't know, you put the words calcium and carbonate together in your reef tank, what other impact does it have?
Yeah. Is it going to mess with your parameters or whatever?
Yeah. Oh, cool. Chevy Ruger, I sent the email. I'll show my tank next week. Nice. Use it as a reason to buy a new piece this week. Awesome.
There you go.
That's great, Chevy. I'll put you on the email list for sure and send it out. I generally send them around between 5:30 and 6 on the night of the stream. So Saturday night, and the link will be in there along with some other information. So yeah. Cool. Well, what do you think, Garrett?
I should probably head out. I gotta do dinner and stuff.
Yeah, my husband just got home. We last week I talked about the family thing that I didn't want to go to because it's outside, so he very graciously went by himself.
Oh, that's a good husband.
So yeah, yeah. So I could get ready and do this, and so he just got home a few minutes ago. So, well, Garrett, it was such a pleasure to talk to you again.
Yeah, it had 7 months. A lot has happened.
Oh, no kidding, no kidding. And it's always kind of motivating for me to to go through this and all the chat and see everybody's tanks and what you're doing. And it gives me motivation to try and get more videos out about what's going on with this thing, because there is so much going on.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like the opportunity for other reefers, to come on here,
Yep.
No matter what their tank looks like. I mean,
Exactly.
I like for watching YouTube videos and stuff like that. I kind of don't like watch. I watch the ones where they tell the stories.
Yeah.
Because that's what I like to hear. You can get a lot from the stories, not just what they're doing right, but what they're doing wrong.
That's right.
And how you may want to incorporate that into the way you run a tank.
Yep.
And and they're not trying to sell you anything.
No. Well, and it's funny you should say that, because I was thinking about that a couple weeks ago when I, right from the start, I've tried to do that with my videos. It's like, if you only watch halfway through, you won't get the full story.
Right.
So for a little while, I tried to say, like, watch right to the end, like blah, 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 blah. And then I realized, you know what? There are people for whom that's not what they're looking for. And that's okay. So the people who, like yourself, you want the story. You want to know what it is from start to finish. And I like telling the stories. So for people like us, then we will get that from it. And that's okay too, right?
Yeah.
So it's a matter of the audience will get what you give them, but they'll also get what they take from it. So those could be two different things, and that's okay.
Right.
So it sounds so obvious, but it takes a while to sort of get your head around that. Yeah. All right. Well, it's good night. And thanks again, Garrett. And
Thanks for
thank
having
you
me.
to everybody in the chat. I appreciate the time you spent.
It was lots of fun.
And if anyone's watching the replay, thank you for hanging around this long. And we will see you next week. And everybody take care. Be safe and enjoy your reef tanks.
Have a good week, reefers.
Yeah. Good night.
Good night.